focused. They so bogus, they so bogus. We serve notice that there's evictions coming. You've been afflicted with a sickness, ain't no sense in running. Stand and face your judgment. Fuck you in your budget. You can hate it, but you gotta love it. Golden nuggets now, pass the chicken. Finger licking, counting money till they stop the printing. Even if they stop the printing, you see my spots a minute, like a city blocks a minute. Yeah, my soul is minute, yours counterfeited. I'm way more committed, forever counterculture. Too alive for vultures. It's like hot tea, cold water. Shit's way too out of order. Hot tea, cold water. Shit's way too out of order. We gotta protect sons, protect daughters. Hot tea, cold water. Too often I've seen the selfish side of things. People take pride in making nightmares of your dreams. So it seems that there are no in-betweens. Draw a line in the sand, hold it down the best you can as a man. Life's much more than getting loot, or a boot you can toot, or a gun you can shoot. To the real I salute, always leading with the truth. However far we got a truth, we rip the evil from the root. I ain't trying to be cute, I ain't dying to be cute. I need to know who invested in my town going big root. Major damage to J. Meaning we gon' damage you. Hidden hand, anyone with a mind can see it's true. Take my lyrics as a clue, I know you know what to do. And with time, I know that you will find that it's in you. Hot tea, cold water. See my spots a minute, like a city blocks a minute. My soul is minute. Skid it, enlighten. Hot tea, cold water. Shit is way too out of order. It's like hot tea, cold water. Shit is way too out of order. Protect sons, protect daughters. It's like hot tea, cold water. Check this out, man. Nowadays, everybody got mob ties. Why do we wanna be tied to the mob? They send slugs to their people, they send drugs to our people. Is this why we wanna be equal? It's getting cloudy, I'm just piercing the fog. That's where we got for bay. I can smell a phony Tony from a block away. I'm so focused, I'm so focused. They so bogus, they so bogus. We serve notice that there's evictions coming. You've been afflicted with a sickness, ain't no sense in running. Stand and face your judgment. Fuck you in your budget. You can hate it, but you gotta love it. Golden nuggets now, pass the chicken. Finger licking, counting money till they stop the printing. Even if they stop the printing, you see my spots a minute, like a city blocks a minute. Yeah, my soul is minute, yours counterfeited. I'm way more committed, forever counterculture. Too alive for vultures. It's like hot tea, cold water. Shit's way too out of order.
Hey,
hot tea, cold water.
Can't Be Silenced.
Shit's way too out of order.
Every Monday from 5 to 7 o'clock.
We gotta protect sons, protect daughters.
We got a great guest on today.
Hot tea, cold water.
Give me a few minutes, we're gonna get this party started.
Too often I've seen the selfish side of things. People take pride in making nightmares of your dreams. So it seems that there are no in-betweens. Draw a line in the sand, hold it down the best you can as a man. Life's much more than getting loot, or a boot you can toot, or a gun you can shoot. To the real I salute, always leading with the truth. However far we got a truth, we rip the evil from the root. I ain't trying to be cute, I ain't dying to be cute. I need to know who invested in my town going big root. Major damage to J. Meaning we gon' damage you. Hidden hand, anyone with a mind can see it's true. Take my lyrics as a clue, I know you know what to do. And with time, I know that you will find that it's in you. Hot tea, cold water.
Yeah, big shout out to my man Scotch Davis.
Like a city blocks a minute.
It's my man Scott's joint. We play this one every week. We love this song.
Enlighten. Hot tea, cold water. Shit is way too out of order. It's like hot tea, cold water. Shit is way too out of order. Protect sons, protect daughters. It's like hot tea, cold water. Check this out, man. Nowadays, everybody got mob ties. Why do we wanna be tied to the mob? They send slugs to their people, they send drugs to our people. Is this why we wanna be equal? It's getting cloudy, I'm just piercing the fog. That's word to Yaffa Bay. I can smell a phony Tony from a block away. I'm so focused, I'm so focused. They so bogus, they so bogus. We serve notice that there's evictions coming. You've been afflicted with a sickness, ain't no sense in running. Stand and face your judgment, fuck you and your budget. You can hate it, but you gotta love it. Golden nuggets now, pass the chicken. Finger licking, counting money till they stop the printing. Even if they stop the printing, you see my spot cemented like a city block cemented. Yeah, my soul is minted, yours counterfeited. I'm way more committed, forever counterculture. Too alive for vultures. It's like hot tea, cold water. Shit's way too out of order. Hot tea, cold water. Shit's way too out of order. We gotta protect sons, protect daughters. Hot tea, cold water. Too often I've seen the selfish side of things. People take pride in making nightmares of your dreams. So it seems that there are no in-betweens. Draw a line in the sand, hold it down the best you can. As a man, life's much more than getting loot, or a boot you can toot, or a gun you can shoot. To the real I salute, always leading with the truth. However far we got a troop, we rip the evil from the root. I ain't trying to be cute, I ain't dying to be cute. I need to know who invested in my town going Beirut. Major damage of J-Root, meaning we gon' damage you. Hidden hand, anyone with a mind can see it's true. Take my lyrics as a clue, I know you know what to do. And with time, I know that you will find that it's in you. Hot tea, cold water. See my spot cemented like a city block cemented. My soul is meant yours Skidda did from the blitter. Yeah. Enlighten. Hot tea, cold water. Shit is way too out of order. It's like hot tea, cold water. Shit is way too out of order. Protect sons, protect daughters. It's like hot tea, cold water. Check this out, man. Nowadays, everybody got mob ties. Why do we wanna be tied to the mob? They send slugs to their people, they send drugs to our people. Is this why we wanna be equal? It's getting cloudy, I'm just piercing the fog. That's word to Yaffa Bay. I can smell a phony Tony from a block away. I'm so focused, I'm so focused. They so bogus, they so bogus. We serve notice that there's evictions coming. You've been afflicted with a sickness, ain't no sense in running. Stand and face your judgment, fuck you and your budget. You can hate it, but you gotta love it. Golden nuggets now, pass the chicken. Finger licking, counting money till they stop the printing. Even if they stop the printing, you see my spot cemented like a city block cemented. Yeah, my soul is minted, yours counterfeited. I'm way more committed, forever counterculture. Too alive for vultures. It's like Hot tea, cold water. Shit's way too out of order. Hot tea, cold water. Shit's way too out of order. We gotta protect sons, protect daughters. Hot tea, cold water. Too often I've seen the selfish side of things. People take pride in making nightmares of your dreams. So it seems that there are no in-betweens. Draw a line in the sand, hold it down the best you can. As a man, life's much more than getting loot, or a boot you can toot, or a gun you can shoot. To the real I salute, always leading with the truth. However far we gotta troop, we rip the evil from the root. I ain't trying to be cute, I ain't dying to be cute. I need to know who invested in my town, growing big roots. Major damage of J-Root, meaning we gon' damage you. Hand in hand, anyone with a mind can see it's true. Take my lyrics as a clue, I know you know what to do. And with time, I know that you will find that it's in you. Hot tea, cold water. See my spot cement. Like
it's not supposed to rain till this evening. They said the winds up to 50 miles an hour. Yeah, just watch the news. What is going on? We have something exciting. We have an exciting show for my OSG family.
Enlighten. Hot tea, cold water. Shit is way too out of order.
You know, Lace be complaining. Yo, y'all ain't on at 5 o'clock.
We in the building.
It's like hot tea, cold water.
All right.
Yes.
Want to welcome everybody into the Zoom. And we gonna get this party started.
Are we Facebook?
Protect sons,
We are
protect
Facebook Live
daughters.
also.
Oh, let me go and look. Oh, I don't even have a
It's like hot tea,
Make
cold
sure y'all
water.
share to your
Check this
Facebook.
out, man.
Share,
Nowadays,
share,
everybody
share,
got mob
share.
ties.
Share
Why do
this.
we wanna be tied to the mob? They send slugs to their people, they send drugs to our people. Is this why we wanna be equal? It's getting cloudy, I'm just piercing the fog. That's word to Yaffa Bay. I can smell a phony Tony from a block away.
Let me put my
I'm so
glasses
focused, I'm
on
so
and
focused.
Till
They
you
so
get your
bogus, they
eyes.
so bogus.
My new
We serve notice that there's addictions coming. You've been afflicted with a sickness, ain't no sense in running. Stand and face your judgment. Fuck you and your budget. You can hate it, but you gotta love it. Golden nuggets now, pass the chicken. Finger licking, counting money till they stop the printing. Even if they stop the printing, you see my spots a minute, like a city blocks a minute. Yeah, my soul is minute, yours counterfeited. I'm way more committed, forever counterculture. Too alive for vultures.
I want people to listen to the lyrics. My son's lyrics is crazy.
Listen, man. We play that record every week. We support it. We love that record because Scotch is saying some stuff on that one.
Yes.
We need somebody else to say that besides his mama.
Big shout out to everybody that's in the Zoom right now. We are now live on Facebook. We're recording and we're live on YouTube, Twitch, and some other platform. This is Rock Logic. I'm in the building for the Cant Be Silenced podcast that we do every Friday on Monday night from 5, allegedly to 6, but always till about 7. Right? So right now, y'all, it's raining outside. We're expecting some high winds at about 55 miles an hour, so we got a little storm coming.
And then we're going to be cold.
And then we're going to be cold again. We all thought we had a spring break.
We did.
Well,
It was a fall spring break.
Yeah, y'all got happy. So break out your umbrellas and your coats because winter's back. Next week is daylight savings times, y'all, and we're going to talk about that too.
Yeah, no. Don't we fall back?
And we fall back. We spring forward.
No, we spring ahead.
We spring ahead. We spring ahead and we fall in the fall back. So we're going to spring ahead in about, I think like next Sunday.
So we lose an hour.
We're going to lose an hour, y'all. That's going to suck to be everybody. Big shout out to everybody in the chat room. I love seeing y'all. Thank you, all y'all looking at YouTube. Thank you, thank you, thank you. If you're live, just put something in the chat so they know what you're there. Don't be trolling. Stop trolling out. You know what I'm saying? You just scoping out, trolling out, not participating. You know, if you don't mind, please say good afternoon, good evening. Say hello to Maria.
Janice Johns is on the Zoom. You know Janice Johns?
No, but she might be one of the OSG people.
Okay.
Hi, Janice.
And we're going to talk about it in a minute.
She wants to know what the link is for Facebook.
Oh, I didn't do a Facebook link. But you can go on Facebook under my page.
Oh, you go to your page.
Right,
If they go to
Maria
the
Antoinette
Maria Antoinette.
or Maria Davis, whichever one. And you'll see a picture of me and Janet Jackson up there.
Can you share it to the Cant Be Silenced page?
Yes, I'll share it to the Cant Be Silenced page.
Yeah, let's share it so everyone knows where the Facebook link is. The YouTube link is Groovy Track. That's GROVEYTRAC. That's on YouTube if you want to go through YouTube and see the show. Also, the show is streaming on the Real Discussion page with Rock Logic. That's on Facebook. And we're streaming on Twitch. And that's Rock Logic 196 on Twitch, y'all. Come on, let's go. Come on.
Yeah.
Whew. We want to welcome to another week of Cant Be Silenced with Maria Davis. Incredible, incredible.
I know I'm sweating like
Yeah, I know. And your glasses are fogging up.
I'm like a puppy.
You're right. We need makeup. We need to call for makeup to come in here and straighten this out. Maria Davis' glasses fogged up. She's sweating.
Boof.
You know what I'm saying? Hit her with the powder.
I don't think I don't know. They say, am I menopause? And I
Right.
don't know.
You hot flashing?
I'm too old for hot flash. I done passed the hot flash.
He said, that's done deal. Yeah, so this week, couple of things went on this week. One thing I wanted to make a note of is that legendary promoter Ray Chandler passed away about 2 days ago, and it was originally Grandmaster Flash's promoter for Black Door Entertainment, and then he later on was doing a concert series called Heart and Soul, which he did at the Hammerstein Ballroom and at the Paradise Ballroom, where he would bring in acts like Ray Goodman and Brown and the Stylistics, the Shy Lights, and all that. And he was doing all those concerts. When he brought the old school back to New York originally, he was one of the first people to do that, to start booking those artists in New York, because he realized that they were viable artists. I mean, he had Third World come. What's the Iceman? The Iceman. The guy, they call him the Iceman. Jerry something, the Iceman.
Jerry Butler.
Yeah, Jerry Butler. He had him on, you know what I'm saying? So,
But no time recently with Jerry Butler, right? Because he ain't been with us in a long time.
What, he died?
Jerry Butler been.
When did he die? Well, he was with us in 2001.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, 2001, Jerry was alive.
Okay.
He was alive and kicking. He was still the Iceman.
Okay.
He was still the Iceman.
That was the Iceman.
That was the
I love
Iceman.
Jerry Butler.
So I wanted to give a big shout out to Ray Chandler and his family, Dorian, his daughter, and all you guys. You know, big loss in the music industry. He was also part of the Harlem World crew with Charlie Rock and Son of Sam and Mean Gene and all those guys down at Harlem World. So that was all that kind of happened. I'm coming off a vacation. It was a great week. Had a little time. I heard there was a big OSG party yesterday that went down. Big shout out to everybody at OSG. I heard it was really crazy at Taj on 21st Street, to be exact, right?
It was a brunch.
It was a brunch. Tell me about that, because I couldn't make it because I was out of town. Lace called me and I was like, "Damn, I'm in Baltimore. I'm vacationing, so I couldn't make it." But tell me about it, because Maria was very excited about it. What was going on?
The principals was off the chain.
Oh, it was.
All the sisters, they was going in. They was getting it in. They was dancing. They was partying. Them kids must be driving them crazy in them schools because they was releasing the stress.
Yeah.
But it was so much fun. Everybody looked beautiful. Everybody was networking, sharing information. I got introduced to a whole ton of people.
Okay.
So it was really, really nice.
And I heard you had people there that you actually knew already that was already in the.
Yes. And I got to meet our guest that we're spotlighting for Women's History Month.
Okay.
I got to meet Principal Shine On Lakeisha Williams.
Nice. Big shout out to Shine On Lakeisha Williams. Got to hit the whole thing with that. That's it. Amazing. So what was the food like? Because, you know, I'm a foodie.
The food was...
So I just want to know what's going on. What were we eating?
The food was... Yeah, they had. I didn't eat the chicken. I went against the grain. I had steak and eggs.
Oh yeah. Oh. So was it? So this was actually a brunch.
It was brunch.
So you had
brunch.
You had a little bit of a mix of
unlimited mimosa, and they use good champagne too. They like they use the champagne I like.
Oh, okay. All right.
Limited. I needed to be there.
Yeah, it's unlimited. It was unlimited. It was good, and then they had a beautiful OSG cake. Let me show you.
Yeah.
So they were celebrating Lakeisha's book, and they was celebrating Arkbar.
Oh, Principal Akbar. Yeah.
Yeah, they were celebrating his book.
Absolutely. And I heard that she's a bestseller.
Yes.
Actually, she's a best-selling author.
Actually, I bought her book last night, but I'm going to buy some on Amazon too.
Okay.
Because a friend of mine, Hassan Giant, that I do fitness work with, he wants to introduce the book to some of the schools that he goes to.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so
People in the chat are like, whoop, whoop, shine,
what-
shine.
shine.
$3.99 family in the building.
What is it? $3.99 family in the building. Yeah, OSG's in the house. Everyone's popping in. So what's it look like you got a pin on over there? What's that on your neck?
I was pinned last
OSG
night.
pin.
My OSG
She
pin.
all
word.
OSG up in here.
Oh, word. I love it.
Let's not hate. Let's celebrate.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, man, I love it. The pin looks great.
I wasn't invited to the brunch. I didn't get unlimited mimosas, and Maria's all up in here with her OSG pin on.
That's right. That's right. Don't be
Talking
mad.
about what fabulous food, her steak and eggs, her stinky,
But you know what,
stinky
though?
steak and eggs.
These
Don't
restaurants
hate the name.
So Lynetta pinned me. My sister Netta from Sullivan I know her from First Corinthian Baptist Church. So she gave me an OSG pin. I love her. She came, as soon as she saw me, she took me by the hand. You want the cane? Let's go. Let's first sit down, get your bag down. And then she just guided me and introduced me to a lot of people. So shout out to Netta. And
Nice.
then, wait, let me get her name right, because we were on a panel. That damn Lays had me up 6 o'clock in the morning.
Today?
Lord, no, on Thursday. Why
Okay.
you don't never get up at 6 o'clock in the morning?
Yeah,
with us?
nah.
Yeah, that ain't.
And then Lays know I got to put makeup on because I
Yeah.
ain't gonna be on Zoom looking crazy. And
Yeah.
then you don't want to be on Zoom. Sometimes I get on them Zooms and I put my little picture up there, but him, he's so interactive. You can't put no
Yeah,
picture.
you gotta be on screen.
Right. So I had to get up 5:30 in the morning. Then I didn't go to sleep because I didn't want to be late doing his show.
Right.
And then he brought on Deani.
Oh, came on the show?
Yes.
Oh, wow, okay. All right.
Wait, who's Deani? I'm lost.
Deani Marti that we had on last.
Oh, Deani, yeah.
Lord have mercy.
Daddy daughter crew.
Daddy daughter.
That's right. Exactly.
And so we had a little panel going on. So it was Shine, Principal Shine Lakeisha.
Mm-hmm.
It was me and it was Miss Powers. Wait, let me get her name right now. You get her. She's Samantha Powers.
Okay.
Yes, Samantha Powers. Yes, from
Lays
OSG.
is in the building. by the
Oh
way.
Lord. Okay, make Lays. Put Lays up there because you know he gonna be hosting with us.
He's there. Let me see. Let me put everybody in the middle right here.
Why every time somebody mention Lay's name up in here, we go, oh Lord.
Because we know he gonna take over the show. That's Lays.
He's sitting in his car ready to rock too. So he ain't got nothing but time right now. So
Okay, so what we want to bring up, our fabulous. We're doing this month is Women's History Month, so we want to spotlight powerful women for Women's History Month. And today we are spotlighting Principal Shine on Lakeisha Williams. Principal Lakeisha Williams is a Brooklyn native who is enthusiastic about serving the community that she loves. She is a social justice educational leader with over 20 years of experience as a paraprofessional, classroom teacher, staff developer, assistant principal, special education administrator, and principal coach. As well as being an educational leader, Lakeisha is also an entrepreneur. She founded her company, Brick House Unlimited, during the pandemic. For Williams, weaving social justice issues into education is incredibly important because kids need to learn early about other cultures. So she also understands the need to educate our children early on with entrepreneurship and financial literacy. Principal Lakeisha has also captured the art of storytelling. She's the author of 2 Amazon bestsellers, Shine On Brown Girl, and is the first children's book in her series. She's also co-authored Still I Thrive, an anthology project that focuses on preserving through the pandemic. Principal Lakeisha is committed to representing the strength of the child, the family, and the community. She knows that stronger communities yield stronger schools and stronger families. Principal Lakeisha has been featured on ABC 7, WPIX 11, Now This Politics, AM New York newspaper, and countless other magazines and podcasts. So, ladies and gentlemen, I introduce to you Principal Shine On Lakeisha Williams.
Host me, Rock.
Host her. Where's our fabulous principal at?
I'm here.
There you go.
Oh,
And looking fabulous.
This is not Esther's magazine. Look, she done blew the girl. I've been trying to blow up my Cant Be Silenced podcast with your looks.
She got us over here looking raggedy, and she come on looking like she going to the Grammys.
I'm telling you, Lord have mercy.
I'm saying you look like artwork. What's going on? Oh my God!
If I had a known, I could have put it together.
I guess you understood she understood the assignment,
and we didn't.
Oh Lord, here go
This is obviously not Dress Down Fridays, apparently.
Or Dress Down Mondays.
Dress Down Mondays, yeah, no, not at all. We are underdressed people. Looking great, Principal Shine.
Yes. You shine, Principal Shine.
You are true to your
Can I
name.
make a correction?
Yes.
Can I correct y'all real quick?
Yes,
Her name
host
is
Lays.
Shine.
Shine. Okay, excuse me. Principal Shine.
On it. It's Shine On Brown Girl, but we call it Shine for PS 399 because she's the principal of 399. So her program is Shine 399.
Wait a minute. Why your hands off the car wheels?
Don't be clapping while you driving.
Right. What you in one of them Tesla cars or something that drive by itself? Legs? Oh, he done dropped out. Oh Lord.
Randolph says that's my principal and got the strong arms up.
What you said, Lays? Wait a minute, he driving?
Yeah, he's actually driving.
All I'm telling you is that, I always drive a nice car. I can tell you that.
We know that because you Lays.
Some of these cars drive themselves. I'm a man that likes a nice car.
We know. And nice glasses. Thanks for my nice glasses.
Yeah, they're dope. The Pradas.
Yes, they look so fabulous on me. I can't wait to get my prescription in them.
Yeah,
okay, no, this ain't.
This is about Shine
before
$3.99.
she tells you, let me tell you something that we missed in the intro. Okay. You know that she got fame for the poem "Shine On Brown Girl" that one of her students said for our very own vice president. And because that was the first African American vice president, and she got a lot of prominence and a lot of hits and a lot of trending because it was really empowering for Black girls, young Black women, to see another Black woman, Kamala Harris, as vice president. So Shine really did her thing with that as well. Just want to make sure she gets all her props.
Okay, yes.
We would have got to that, Lays, but thank you.
He's on it. He's on it. Yeah, it's in the script. He's on it. By the way, big shout out to Australia in the building. Philippines is in the building. Big shout out to you guys that are tuning in. And I know that over there on that side of the planet, we are the morning show. So good morning to you guys over on that side of the planet. Indonesia's in the house. Nice to see you all again. You know what I'm saying? So it's all good.
Okay, well, let me say this. As a social justice educational leader and principal of Stanley Eugene Clark School, Principal Shine Lakeisha Williams recently went viral for her Brown Girls Empowerment activity. Students at her Brooklyn Elementary School recited an empowering poem after Kamala Harris became Vice President-elect of the United States. Principal Shine Lakeisha video reached over 12,000 views, sorry, y'all.
Cumulatively.
Look, she wrote it. I said cumulatively.
Okay, Principal Shine.
There you go. All right.
I done messed that up. Sorry.
It's because you got to read the script. You know what I'm saying? You're supposed to read the copy before you go on air.
Principal Shine Lakeisha. Wait a minute. Let me finish. Finds that community empowerment alongside education are our greatest ways to help one another. She focuses on bridging the two together through instructional leadership, school improvement action plans, community engagement, family empowerment initiatives, and school-wide compliance mandates. So, ladies and gentlemen, I present to you Principal Shine Lakeisha Williams. Sorry about that mess up about cumulative. Sorry.
That's okay. Thank you so much for having me join you today.
So first I want to ask you, where did you grow up?
So I grew up in Brooklyn. I have to shout out my hometown of Allendale, South Carolina, small town. I was born in South Carolina, but I came to New York City as, as a baby, basically. So I grew up in Brooklyn. So I'm Brooklyn all day, even though I live in Queens.
Word.
But, Brooklyn is forever in my heart.
Why you say that, Rock? Because you from Brooklyn too and you live in Queens?
Yeah. Well, I'm actually from the Bronx, then I lived in Brooklyn, now I live in Queens. I'm multi-borough.
Not Queens.
What school did you go to in Brooklyn?
For elementary and middle school, I went to the local schools, District 19, and I actually went there during a time where, it was definitely a lot of struggles in the 80s and the early 90s, but, my principals had it together. I was fortunate enough in that sense because we know East New York, we know the impoverished neighborhoods in Brooklyn, but I was always intellectually, gifted in that type of intelligence because we know it's multiple intelligences, right? So I was able to attend one of the specialized high schools and I went to Brooklyn Technical High School.
So did I.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, you ain't getting no points for that. Excuse you. This is between me and Principal Shine.
Tech is in the building. Me, Cordell Clear, and now Shine.
Lays went to Brooklyn Tech too.
Oh, he sure did.
He did. I said tech people are something special.
Yeah, the techies in the house.
Yes,
the techies are in the house.
I know Lays is special. I don't know about the rest of them. You too special too.
And we're tech knights. We're not
Brooklyn Tech
techies.
bullies. Tech knights, the bullies ain't.
And so I know I'm older than you, but I know back in in our struggling communities when we were younger, I lived in the projects. I grew up in Mount Haven Project. I was born in Cincinnati, Ohio. But back then, education was different. The teachers really cared. Back then, you know what? I had a lot of black teachers when I went to elementary school. And I'm 62. So that was in about in the 1960s. No, not even 1960s, like in the early 70s. And so I went to elementary school, but my teachers was on point. They did not play. They beat you, and then they send you home for your mama to beat you. So school is absolutely different than from before. So I understand what you're saying about your teachers in the community, even though our community, it's so funny. I said we was poor, but my mother never made us feel like we were poor.
Right. I say the same thing. Growing up, we definitely had a lot of love in our home, but I didn't realize as a child, the ramifications of everything. But it was definitely traumatizing though, right? If we're trying to do what's right for all children, then it behooves us to make sure that our communities have the necessary resources that they need so that all children can thrive, not just children like me who were, in the quote unquote smart classes, but what are we doing for all children? Because depending on who you talk to, not everyone has the same, wonderful story of when they went to school. And that's, the main reason for organizations such as OSG. And I'm so proud to be a part of OSG because there's a group of us that's just committed to changing the narrative, right? Everyone talks about the school to prison pipeline.
Right.
But again, when we look at the statistics of how many children are proficient and not proficient, and we look at the juvenile statistics, and we look at crime statistics, and we look at all of those statistics, the correlation is like, you can't ignore that. You can't ignore that schools are definitely a part of the problem and the solution.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? And I really do believe that schools are the solution, but it takes, soldiers who are willing to just roll up their sleeves and do what needs to be done for our children and our families.
That is so crazy you say that because you're right. I don't know. Everybody keeps saying pipeline to prison, but I've never seen an organization that really take action and do something to change the narrative. I keep hearing people say it, but I'm like, but what are you doing about it? So how did OSG come about? How did you get involved in OSG?
So Dennis McKeezy, who founded OSG, I don't think he joined yet. He might be busy right now, but he's the founder. He mentored several principals, many principals around, the country. I was one of those principals. During the pandemic, oftentimes as a leader, it's our job to make sure that we're taking care of everyone else, but then who takes care of the leaders?
Absolutely.
Right? And so that's where Dennis came in. So it really started out as a weekly Zoom for us to check in on ourselves, and make sure that we were good. But in that, we found, so many different commonalities, and we're all very passionate about just doing right by our children. And it grew to include, Dennis and Lays, they knew each other already. They went way back, but it's not just principals, it's educators, it's entrepreneurs, it's, Dame Dash is a part of it, different people come along and they don't want to leave. Because one thing the main thing for me that I feel we get from OSG is just we embrace Black excellence. And we know as a people, because we got to talk real, right? So that's the only type of talk that I do. And we know that sometimes we don't always know how to cultivate love and support, and let's uplift one another, and really and truly live up to I am my brother's keeper, I am my sister's keeper. But in OSG, everyone is doing something, and we're all so supportive of one another. So we have embraced excellence as a group, and it's spilling over into the many different areas that all of us are branching off into. So this is a movement.
Yes, I told you, I felt the movement last night. I want to be a principal now.
And just for you guys that don't know, OSG stands for Off School Grounds.
Yeah,
that's what the acronym is for. Yep.
Okay. Yes. I was getting ready to ask her that, Rock.
Oh, my bad.
Him and Lays are cut from the same cloth. Him and Lays are cut from the same cloth.
Yeah, they don't even give you a chance to ask the damn question.
Whoops. My bad.
So, what college did you go to?
So I went to several colleges. Everyone has a story to tell, and I believe in God, and I believe that God, uses each of us for many different reasons. So I told you that I attended Brooklyn Tech, but I did not graduate from Brooklyn Tech because I also found myself pregnant as a teen mom.
Okay.
But I still graduated high school a semester earlier. I went to an alternative high school so I could finish out there. And I did my first year of college at New York City Technical College, downtown Brooklyn.
So did I.
Yeah.
Ironically.
Janine, stop jumping in and talking about so did I. Go on.
Yeah, so I started there, and then I moved to South Carolina. Thought I wanted to live there, and I was there for a few years. And while I was there, I attended the University of South Carolina. And by this time, I had 2 children. And I did what I had to do there. And then I realized the South was not for me.
What part of South Carolina? Excuse me. What part of South Carolina?
My town, Allendale, the small town.
Oh, okay, Allendale. My family's from Greenville. I don't know how far that is from.
Yes, I know Greenville. Yes.
So you had 2 children now.
Yeah, so I had 2 boys now, and I came back to New York City, and I finished up my studies at Brooklyn College. And we know Brooklyn College is considered to be the Harvard, the Harvard of Brooklyn. So I finished my studies there, and the beauty of there is that when I was going to Brooklyn College, my children also went there, because even though I was a teen mom, it was, I was raised with both my parents in the home. They're still married to today, almost 50 years later. But again, I grew up with the work ethic. I grew up with, you make mistakes, but you know what, you learn from them and you keep moving on. And that's what I did. And I wanted my children, my boys especially, to know that they had options. And so for me, it was critical that they saw their mom doing what she had to do. And even, when their dad and I, we ended up divorcing several years later, whatever, we still did right by the children and co-parented. And now my boys are young men themselves. I'm a grandmother also.
Congratulations, me too.
Yeah, and listen, and my granddaughter has her own business, Serenity Nail Polish.
Right. So we got to get you and Donnie, my friend that owns the spa. We got to get y'all together. Absolutely.
So when I say this work is personal for me, it's personal because what was given to me, and what was given to my boys and my granddaughter is that's going back to the concept of Black excellence. Everybody can do it. Like, sure, we know there are things that we know we experience trials and tribulations, right? But how do we rise above all of that? And so when I went to Brooklyn College, my children went to Brooklyn College too. As a matter of fact, my oldest son is finishing up with his film degree there. You know, he was teaching for a little bit, didn't like that. Went to the Navy for a little bit, didn't really like that. And now he's on his film career. You know, he's aspiring film producer, and he's finishing up with his master's degree at Brooklyn College right now. And I also have my youngest son on the call, you know, and he's doing what he got to do, getting his foot, you know, in the fashion world he graduated from. We know one of the best fashion colleges, Fashion Institute of Technology here in New York City, you know, and he's doing what he has to do. So it can be done. It can be done.
Yes, the road has been laid for them, so they can't say, you know, young people say all the time, we don't have access, but they have a mother that has access. So therefore, you've laid the great ground. Thank God they get it. Some kids don't get it. You know, I remember when, I had the opportunity to have Pastor Y.T. Walker, who was very well known all across the country, and you know, he was the right-hand man to Martin Luther King, but both his sons were addicted to drugs. So you know that you're very fortunate and blessed that your children, you know, have following your path, but then sometimes, you know, we can't choose the path for our children. So you're definitely blessed with that.
So I have a question. I would like to know the name of it's your daughter?
Granddaughter.
That has the nail polish. What's the name of her line? Like, what is it? Y'all just skip past that.
Serenity Nail Polish.
She said Serenity Nail
She did?
Polish. She sure did.
Oh, where can we get it though? Like online? Like where can we purchase it? Like,
How old is your granddaughter? She's a little boss.
She has a website. Serenity Nail Polish is also sold online at Walmart.
Oh. All right now.
Now that is excellent.
That is Black excellence.
That's some Black girl magic.
Yeah, right there. Wow.
That's why they call her Shine Shine.
Yeah, that is awesome.
she not only is she shining, but her children gonna shine and grandchildren.
Junior.
That's a lot of light. That's a lot of light.
But listen, it's also important to me, right? Every child that I encounter, because what makes the difference is exposure and access. So you said earlier about people who are talking as opposed to actually doing, which is what you see in OSG, because equity is talk. Well, equity is not talk. Equity is doing. So what are we doing, right? And many people are not doing. Unfortunately, many people are talking. And so when we see children, when I think about what was given to me, because again, I grew up in these same neighborhoods, East New York, Brownsville, Bed-Stuy. So like I know what it is, what it feels like to, you know, not have a full meal at night because we ran out of food, you know, and we had to eat a baked potato for dinner that night, right? Like I know that feeling because I've lived that. But the difference that I feel is I was, like I said, love was in our home, but then we also had hope. My parents gave us hope. So because neither one of my parents finished school, right? But what they did say to us every single day of our lives was they wanted our life to be different. So my work with children is not only to make sure children pass the test, but to also work with the families to give them the hope so that they can give to their children when they go home. Because I do believe it is for everyone. But we lose our children, unfortunately, when we don't give them the necessary experiences, because that's what it's about. How can you see yourself, you know, when children, like Jay-Z, for example, we know Jay-Z is from Marcy, but because children don't have a direct connection to Jay-Z, they see that as far removed from them.
Yes, absolutely.
So because it's far removed, their mind does not believe it's possible.
It's
but
achievable.
If they see more people like you, like me, like OSG, and they see people on the ground, right, like Lays Elliott, talking to children, working with children, giving them experiences and exposures, then it becomes real. So going back to that video when Kamala Harris, you know, became vice president elect, even for someone like me, and I'm saying like me because multiple college degrees, a professional career, but I was excited when she became vice president. You know why? Because that was representation. Somebody was there in the White House that looked like me and my children, because I talk about all of these things with my children in my school, right? They were excited. And that's why we did the activity. But children have to see that it's possible. And if we're not having these conversations with our children, and we're not being the role models for our children and providing them with as many different rich experiences that's relevant to their lives, then we're failing them, because we're not giving them the education that they need to thrive in life, not only to survive, but to thrive.
Absolutely, absolutely. That kind of reminds me of the book that we have with Dr. Lucille Scott. I am that. Positive affirmation. She said, what you see is what you say. So if you see yourself a certain way, you'll say those things about yourself. So it's this book that we have with a Dr. Lucille Scott, and I have the I Am That room on Clubhouse. And it is a book of about maybe 30, 35 positive affirmations. I am wealthy. I am loved. I am
health.
I am health.
I'm courageous.
I am courageous. And you have to see that when you look in your mirror. So she wants us every day for 30 days to look in the mirror and say these things about ourselves. And some people don't even look at themselves. Because you've been masked so long, you don't even know what you really look like. I talk about that all the time, that we walk around with these masks that we don't even know who we are. And so it's so important that the reality is that you have to be real to yourself and real about yourself. So just for that, Principal Shine, I love you. You know what? I love your enthusiasm. It's like when I went to that OSG brunch yesterday, it's like everybody has a glow about themselves. Everybody is shining with enthusiasm. I don't know what the enthusiasm is, but they just excited.
I guess it's contagious.
It's contagious. Like Lays coming to me. I came to the door. Lays was hugging me up. You gotta be excited. If you came in there with a bad attitude,
ain't no party like an OSG party.
Right.
Word up.
If you came in there with a bad attitude, that was not the place for you. You may as well go on home.
Or you left happy.
Right.
You left happy.
Because happiness is contagious. It really is. It is contagious.
But you know what's so funny? I don't know if you saw that. I forgot what the lady's name was. I drove home. They drove me home. Her and Pilar.
Pilar, yeah, she's from up in Yonkers.
Yeah, but it was another lady that rode with us, and she has her own daycare in her home. I forget.
Toya?
Oh, you talking about Toya?
Yes,
Toya Carter.
Toya, right?
Yeah.
I love Toya. So Toya is dancing on the floor. You know, she getting it in, and some Caucasian woman just walked up to her. And everybody was like, I was like, this lady, she don't even know what she about to get into right now. Because all of a sudden, one of the OSG's lady that was sitting at the table with me, she jumped up and she would have said to the lady, are you all right?
Yeah.
What's the problem? So apparently the lady was married to a black man. I don't know why she picked Toya to talk. Toya said, what do I look like? I said, well, you look like you can. So she has,
what am I, a sympathizer? What is she?
Right. So she married to a black man, but she's divorced. So she was trying to tell Toya. I was like, what in the world?
Oh, what, she just walked up to her for counseling?
Walked up to her.
Just like that.
And started talking to her. Because I peeped it all out because I was sitting down.
Right.
I was like, this lady. And then Nettie went up to her. I was like, this lady about to get beat down up in Taj.
Oh, Lord.
She about to get the principal SG beat down.
On school grounds.
On school grounds.
See you at 3:00.
Right.
Wow, that is crazy.
So So
Maria, can let me step in? Can I say something for a second? First of all,
absolutely. Anytime you want.
I definitely don't want to gloss over what Shine is saying, and you guys are really speaking to something that really resonates. Number one, it is the glow. OSG has a glow, and the glow is affirmation and accountability. The thing about our community is we don't hold each other accountable. And when we hold each other accountable, we're like, I ain't messing with that person. No, we're going to hold you accountable, and we're going to still mess with you. We're going to still love on you, but we're going to hold you accountable for your stuff. I heard Rock say something earlier today. No, I get up at 6 o'clock in the morning. I'm going to press Rock to get his ass up.
Thank you. You done pressed me to get my ass up. I done been up 3 times at 6 o'clock in the morning.
and Rock will tell you, I love Rock, but I hold him accountable
all day,
because we have to hold each other accountable. That's how we create Black excellence. Gone is the day where we're going to be sitting back and getting mad because the white man is doing this, white man is doing it.
Absolutely.
It's our time and our opportunity to hold each other accountable and make each other better. Because if we don't hold each other accountable and give our children that landing strip that they need to be great, then then we're going to keep having these same problems in our community. And that's what makes OSG great. And that's why you see the glow. Am I correct, Shine?
You're absolutely correct. Accountability with love, right? That's how you get to grow. And those are the only kind of people that I want around me anyway. If you see that I am struggling, right? I'm going through something. You see me at the edge of a cliff and you don't try to, prevent me from falling, then you're really not my friend. And you really don't care about me and love me, right? But I want people to love me enough to want to see me shine, right? And walk in my purpose and vice versa. But that's how we should love upon each other. We should love upon each other enough so that everyone is shining in their own respective right.
It's so funny. When I came to the OSG brunch, I called Rock, but I was also sharing with Deneen today. I said, I care about too many people that don't care about me. So then that really pushed me to get up and go to the brunch.
Yeah.
I said, I'm tired of being around the same people doing the same old thing.
You said that. You said, I need to meet new people.
Yeah, I need to meet new people who when I get in the room, they shine. And that because I want to shine.
Right.
I don't want to dull who I am. Yeah, I don't want to dull who I am because you ain't ready to get to where you going. Mm-hmm. And so I really need that push. Even at 62, I should have written my book by now. I have an incredible story. And just from seeing your book and from being there, it was so crazy. I was just taking it all in. Like, these people are younger than me. They got their books going. They got this going. I got to get myself together. And let
me say two things, Maria. Mm-hmm. Two things. One, everyone has their own journey, right? So we don't look to the left of us. We don't look to the right of us. We don't look behind us. Everyone has their own journey. Your journey is just as important as my journey because God uses each of us for different reasons. So your journey is your journey. That's one. Two, I have a writing master's class coming up. So I'll be sure to send you that information.
Okay.
And you're going to get started with that book.
Thank you. That's right, because you own your own publishing company, I see. That's right. I would be.
Let me also.
OSG published the book.
Okay.
OSG published the book,
okay.
Right? My book and Ox book. But I am starting a writings masterclass. I'm doing an information session next week. I will send you the information.
Thank you.
Stories are powerful and your story needs to be told.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
I'm glad you said that, Shine, because words are powerful. And Maria, you have a powerful story. Yesterday, Dr. Anisha Baez, and we love Doctor. She's a very beautiful, spirited person. As soon as she saw Maria, she was like, I don't know you, but you resonating with my spirit. Sometimes you just got to change, you get out of a certain situation because like I told Rock, in order to get right, we got to get clear some of the spiritual vampires out there.
Oh, so Lord, say that again. I'm using that spiritual vampire. Where am I in that?
That's right.
That's a deep one. Spiritual vampire.
Yeah,
they sucking the blood out of you.
And then getting with like-minded people. So that's why I called you for a reason. As a matter of fact, and I'm going to tell you, I joke a lot, but I'm a very serious man. Rock can tell you this. And let me just say this to you. You've been on my spirit and my mind. I've been thinking about you. And that's why I've been tuning in and dialing in. I said, I'm going to try to get close to Maria and talk to her about certain things because you have so much to offer this community. You've been giving so much of your life to this community. We're talking AIDS activists, out there working, doing things. Your Mad Wednesdays has broken so many stars from Jay-Z to 50 Cent to Puffy to everybody. You've given so much to this community. And the bottom line is you got to sometimes get something back. Instead of everybody taking from you, taking your spirit from you. So let's just clear that and get you on the landing strip with like-minded people who actually care about your success. They care about your well-being. And that's why that OSG Glow is real, because everybody cares about everybody.
Yeah, you feel it.
It is nothing like you've ever seen before.
This is
nothing like you've ever seen.
This is a mental health thing for me too. My eyes are tearing all up.
And if I could just shine on Maria for a moment, as I picked her up to come over here, there was a homeless woman on the corner, and she's like, Deneen, you got $2 so we could give money to this lady. And She told the lady she was gonna cook her, give her a plate tomorrow, and it's just it was very heartwarming.
But the most
to see her in action in the street.
But the most important thing is I know the woman's name. Her name was Diane.
Oh, wow.
So when I see her, I address her
by her name,
because she's still a person.
Yes.
And instead of just giving somebody some money now, she's like, when she came up to me, I had a dream about you last night. I said, girl, did I hit the lotto or what? But knowing people's name, they may not look like us. They might not have everything that we. And from my understanding, somebody told me she used to be a school teacher.
Oh, wow.
And now she's homeless. That can happen to
anybody.
People think that, it can't. Anything can happen to anybody because that's just how life is. We don't want it to happen to us, but we don't know what the next, what broke that woman down that now she's homeless.
To put in that position, sure.
And that's another thing I want to talk about too, Principal Shine, the homelessness of children in our public school system is really outrageous.
Real. It's real. And I have several staff members that's on. And, my right hand, AP Graham, my former AP Hogan is on to it, and my school counselor, Mr. Bruni. And we do what it takes. We do what it takes because, again, it's so much more than just teaching children reading, writing, and math, right? I often refer to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. The top of the pyramid is self-actualization, but we're human beings first. The first step is the basic needs. Have we addressed, as a society, have we addressed the basic needs of food, shelter, right? Clothing. If we're still dealing with the basic needs level, how do we expect for children to get to the self-actualization level of doing what it is that they have to do if the first level has not been addressed, right? Because it is all connected. We cannot take the humanity out of education. So in my school, in many schools like mine, who has a very high SCH population, not only are we reading, teaching children reading, writing, and math, but we're also forming partnerships, with organizations such as the Lights On program with Principal Akbar, that's coming to our school. But even prior to that, like doing what we had to do within the community to make sure we're giving out food, to make sure that, November we had a family engagement day. We gave out coats to the entire school community, right? There's nothing in my contract that says I have to do that. There's nothing in my contract that says I have to do that. But what's in my heart tells me that's what I have to do, right? I have to make sure that my people are good. And I'm saying people because my children go home. They go home to families. Regardless of where they're going home to, they're going home. I even wrote a submission for the David Prize organization where I'm trying to get funded for a project idea that I have to make sure that the shelters across the city are stocked with the basic essentials for all families.
Yes.
Because again, you said knowing the young lady's name and how important that is. So imagine if we're living somewhere and year one, Dennis would tell you, when I found out that my children were not being fed in the shelters, it broke me down. And I literally cried because I had no idea. And so even though I grew up, in the poor sections of Brooklyn, I had no idea this is how shelters ran. So then I made it my business to make sure, I don't care if my children want to eat 10 times, they eat. But then I said, let me make sure I get these partnerships with food organizations to make sure that we're giving out food to the community, right? But I want to take it a step further than that because for me, it's always what else can I do? So I'm trying to get funded for this idea where I can have things on site in these shelters across the city. So people can, what I'm calling it is like basic care packages. Why should you leave home? Because that's their temporary home. And in their temporary homes, they should be able to have food, right? At any time of the night that they want food. And they also should be able to have access to, simple things, toothpaste, soap, those simple care packages. And hopefully, I made it to the step 2 of David Prize and, I'm putting it out there because even if I don't get it funded by David Prize, there's different funding entities out here, but I'm definitely going to try to get that funded because that strips people's dignity away right? And when people's dignity are stripped away, it's hard to get them to focus on that ladder to self-actualization, which is why it behooves us to make sure that we engage the community, because obviously as a principal, I don't have all of these resources on hand, right? But there's someone else I see on the phone call, Kevin, who's the CEO and founder of 100 Suits. So that's just an example of a CBO partnership that I form with people to make sure that if my fathers are coming up to the school and they're distraught about their child losing a hat, no, we're going to sit and talk to them to figure out what is the real issue. But dad recently got released from prison and is having a hard time trying to find a job. So then I'm going to call up somebody like Kevin and be like, hey, I need your help. I need you to plug my dad so he could get a job, right? But this is what I mean when I say community engagement. What are the needs of the people in the community? It's no secret, which is why I say equity is not about talking. Equity is about doing, right? So the schools need to be able to provide like wraparound services for our families. And so we have just now we were selected to be an official community school, but this is year 4 for me. And anyone who's worked with me on my team, we have been working from day one as a community school, because not only are we making sure that our children are reading, writing, and doing math, but we're also making sure that our families are taken care of.
And I'm going to tell you, that is so important. And I don't understand why people don't understand. We spend all of this money housing people in homeless shelters. They spend an incredible amount of money, but they don't have the basic needs that they need.
They don't have the basic
That's crazy.
needs. They don't.
Like when you tell me it's $2,000 a day, I'm like, to house somebody in the... Why can't they do... You can't build a building.
Build a building and house those people.
$2,000 a day. Can't they get an apartment? Like it just, I mean.
Nope. The city rather spend that kind of money versus making sure there's affordable housing.
And give it to the hotels. And
Right.
I just want to say in the chat room, Maria Hamilton said, how do you get involved with OSG? That's in the chat room right now.
Maria or Marla?
Marla. Sorry.
That's my sister from 1 Corinthians Baptist.
Oh, big shout out to Marla.
Yes, and let me tell you.
She says, how do you get involved?
Oh, and let me tell you something. Marla works for Marshall. She's a retailer. So she's a buyer.
Okay.
So yes, y'all need to get her involved. Maybe she can get some. I'll call Marla myself and connect her.
Well, lay, shine. How can somebody
how
be
can
involved?
somebody get involved in OSG?
I'll take it. You can go to the official OSG at IG or the official OSG.org, offschoolgrounds.org, or also on LinkedIn, the official OSG, and you'll find us. We are a nonprofit 501c3 organization. We take donations and we put out a lot into the community. And just to add on to what Shine was saying about how important the school is in the community. I mean, listen, let's go back for a second. Let's go back 30 years in the 80s when drug dealing was such a big deal, right? Imagine if all those drug dealers were putting their money together and educating the kids. They were making millions of dollars in Brooklyn and all these different places. If they got together and pooled their money. Well, OSG is a situation where we can actually pool the resources of these multi-million-dollar businesses, which are the schools. They are multi-million-dollar businesses. Yes. And they are, in some places, they are the biggest school. They're the biggest business in your community. So you've got 10 or 15 schools. Imagine how much power, how we can change the procurement problems that we have in the budget. Now, the New York City budget is a $38 billion budget, with almost none of that money going into the schools of need. There are systematic changes that have to be changed. And I'm not going to sit here and promote the new chancellor, though I like what he was saying. I'm not promoting the new mayor in this conversation because I'm really about the kids. And I'm saying they have to figure out a way to make it so that $38 billion goes to the children, the needs of the children in our community. And the schools are a way you can do it, because you can resolve some of the problems in the community if they have the money. If they have the money, they can solve the problems. And if it's you take the reins off and allow creative principals like Shine Lakeisha Williams to utilize that money, and then she could partner up with a Dr. Smalls or an Allison Farrington or Rochelle Hines, all these different principals, they can pool their resources. They can, let me tell you something, we Black people, we know how to make it work. We know how to make a pot of chicken work. And so at the end of the day, We have to get together as a community and let the schools be the center of the community. They are bigger than anything else in this community, and allow these creative Black principals, because listen, this is a new thing. I mean, listen, we got doctors in our crews like chicklets. I mean, every time I turn around, somebody gets a doctorate. This is real deal Black excellence. And we have the numbers, like Lakeisha says, we doing it for real. It's not a game. Every day we talking about, we doing it. I listen to a lot of podcasts, stylizing and talking about stuff. But listen, let me tell you something. I'm on the ground running. Like she said, we in these streets and we talking, and we in the toughest neighborhoods in New York. And ain't no fear, no nothing, no scared. We out there daytime with blue and white hearted and saying we about these kids. So if you really about these kids and you need to get with the OSG, absolutely tell your friend, your sister, get with the OSG.org, come volunteer, because every day we're doing something to change the lives of our children.
That's right. It's all about changing that narrative, and we're changing the narrative.
And you know what's so deep? People keep saying the pandemic was terrible. Yes, it was very terrible. But what the pandemic did was it tore the scab off of the sores that was in our community. One of them being that children that were from marginalized families did not have laptops and an adequate network and an adequate internet.
Yeah, that was a big deal.
That was crazy.
Yeah, you found that out.
That was crazy. And a lot of kids, even when they were giving out the tablets, a lot of kids in the low income communities still didn't have access to the tablet. I mean, I could buy my grandbaby a tablet.
Right.
My mother can buy one. But for the children in the shelters, they still, and then they got the tablets and got to the shelters, and there was no internet in the shelter.
So they couldn't use it anyway. It was yeah. I remember seeing that on the news.
I mean, that was crazy. It showed a lot of health disparities. We already knew about the health disparities.
Sure.
But it really showed the health disparities during the COVID. People are not taking care of themselves. We need families in school. There need to be health programs, not only just for the child during gym, but also for the entire family. The eating properly, what a plate should look like at a meal. And it has to come from the parents. We have so many young women now being parents now that have not been raised by their family members, because we don't have the matriarchal grandmothers anymore.
Right.
Am I right, Principal Shine? We don't have matriarchal grandmothers and grandfathers anymore like I had when we were growing up. The grandmother's in the club with the daughter, and they trying to get the same man and smoke weed.
Mm-hmm. Good Lord.
We have some in the chat room. Does OSG, and this came from Nikki
Sunshine.
Oh,
Nikki
Sunshine. Nikki Sunshine.
She
Oh,
says-
We got Sunshine. We got Sunshine.
Yeah, we got
all
She
the
Sunshine.
says, does OSG address other needs like sex education, talking to young girls about keeping themselves safe? And that goes to you.
OSG addresses everything pertaining to children from birth through young adults, because we have different people that represents different entities, right? We have some early childhood people in OSG. We have elementary school principals like myself, high school principals, traditional high schools, and non-traditional high schools, and then even beyond that.
And then y'all got me to come in and speak too.
Right.
Whenever
Yes,
y'all need
yes.
me.
Yes.
Pilar saying she can't get in. I'm trying to get her in.
She's not in? I saw her on Facebook.
Oh, I did see
We
her.
admitted her. It said joining. I think it's her Wi-Fi, so try it again.
Yeah, because we got her in. Just give me a hot second, gang, because
You got to do the commercial.
I got to do a quick commercial, because we also broadcast this over Airtime Pro, which is the Boardwalk Global Media radio station. So we do that every week. So
hentai people.
so there's certain breaks that I got to do. So I'm going to do a couple of breaks real quick, and we will be absolutely right back.
Yes.
Oh shit, nigga! Is you crazy? Get the power back on! Oh shit, here we go again. Please donate to our Cash App, Boardwalk Podcast. That's $, Boardwalk Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen,
Yep.
here it is, the most listened to radio show on the planet. Even the other stations are tuned in too.
The real discussion can't be silenced. Perspective of yours, one night. Mi gente, mi people. The conversation and Q Nation.
Cool, thank you. And we are now back. I don't have to edit that in.
Les, what you said, Lays?
Open up.
Lays
Yep.
on.
Lays.
Yelling over the commercial.
Lays said, forget
I didn't know I was
in.
in. I said, don't forget to talk about the book, man. She got books and bestsellers. We got to talk about those books. Don't forget the books.
Okay, let's get ready to get into that.
We still selling books. We selling books.
Yes, I bought mine last night.
Please, Shine. Talk about the book. Talk about what it's about. Hold the book up to the camera so everybody can see.
I love it.
Brown Girl.
I bought it last night.
But we want to keep this going because we want to start winning some book awards now because we want to just spread the message and the importance of our children loving themselves first. Can't get our children to do well on tests, do well in their communities until they first learn to appreciate themselves and value who they are. Then they can give us the very best of who they are. So this book is a movement. And it's not just a book for children.
Please mute yourself. Mute yourself.
Actually holds and where there's some
Somebody's
Callie.
talking.
Got it.
Oh, okay.
I got it. Caught it.
Go ahead. Sorry, Shine.
This book should be discussed through the college level because I believe that the teacher certification courses need to be revised as well. Because when children walk into a school, guess what else walks in with them? Their skin color, their hair, their language, their customs, right? So it is important that we acknowledge and affirm who our children are, right? And not try to make them fit into our mold, but we have to understand our children and who they are. So this book definitely serves as a conduit for that, to have those discussions so that the educators' thinking can be revised.
Can you hold the book up? Because we can't. It's Shine Brown Girl.
Shine on Brown Girl.
Yeah, Shine on Brown. And it's on Amazon, right?
It's on Amazon.
It's on Amazon, and you're going to find it under Principal. I don't think Shine will be on there.
No, Lakeisha Williams.
Lakeisha Williams.
Shine on Brown Girl. Lakeisha
Yes,
Williams.
and Lakeisha is Lakeasha. Lakeisha.
Let me tell you why that's so important, Maria. And I'm going to tell you the one quick story. And I'm going to shut up after this. So 3 days
know
ago,
that
my
ain't you.
daughter
Go on.
who runs I know I'm gonna keep talking, but my daughter who runs my company, Talos Media, where I'm designing and building studios in school, stuff like that. Well, my 11-year-old granddaughter went to school, and one of the girls called her a monkey. She went to the teacher. They wouldn't do anything about it. They didn't address it. So my granddaughter started acting out in school, and so my daughter went to the school. And to deal with them, and I said, listen, let's write letters, do what you got to do. Let's go there and deal with them. We're going to deal with the situation. But my granddaughter said something that was very profound. She says, if you don't protect me, then I'm going to have to protect myself. And she told that to the principal. So it's very important. And I love my grandbaby for telling me this and saying, Grandpa, this is what happened. And they called me a monkey in my school. This is 2022. This is my 11-year-old granddaughter. So like you say, you carry your skin color with you. And so I said, it's important that we get at these people immediately and let them know that we're not going to have it. And if you don't protect our baby, we're going to protect our babies. And that's what I love about this book, because it's giving our children identity. Shine on, little brown girl, shine on. Yes. And let them know that she is beautiful. And let's not stop it. And you ain't heard the last of this one, though. You know, Uncle's going in, by the way, just so you know.
We know.
All the way in.
So this book is on Amazon. You can also follow me on my Instagram. I put that in the chat as well. Principal_Shine on Lakeisha. This is the first book in my series. I am Boy Mom. And so Shine on Brown Boy is coming soon.
Excellent.
But I also want to say that I've also done read-alouds around the country. So I'm open, to doing read-alouds. And I have to say that this book is a hit amongst all children, right? So it's not just a book for Black and brown girls, but it is a book for all children, because when you read the story, and remember I said before, we have to have the discussions with our children. Right. We're not having these discussions, but we know these things are taking place. So what Lays just described is exactly what children are still dealing with in the year of 2022. We have to change that thinking. But if we're not having the conversations with our children, then it's not going to change. And so this book opens the door for children to have that conversation because they empathize with the character in the book. I'm not gonna give it away. You have to buy the book, but they empathize with the struggle that she goes through in this book. And we need that for all children because educators have to be the ones to lead this movement because everyone passed through us. You passed through us, Maria, right?
Yes.
Ladies passed through us, all principals, judges, police officers. I don't care what you decide to do in your life. Everyone must pass through us. Therefore, educators have to be the ones to lead this movement. I also want to add that I belong to another organization, Black Adfluencers United, and in that organization is a part of a group, several other groups that are charged with the first ever Black history curriculum for New York City.
Wow.
And I serve on that commission. We know when we get that right in New York City, we know we're taking that across the country.
Yes.
Because again, Black history is not just for us, it's American history.
That's
it's
right.
For everybody.
That's right.
If we're not learning about who we are and other people are not learning about who we are and the richness and the culture and everything that comes with that, we can't be so surprised on the back end when we have children as young as elementary school who don't believe in themselves. Do you know how sad that is when we have young children who have already lost hope?
Absolutely.
That's society's fault,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And I'm going to tell you something else that I'd like to share as well. In some African nations, there are countries where when they greet each other, I don't know how to say it, in their language, but when they greet each other, it means, how are the children? Here in this country, when we greet each other, it's how are you, right? But just think about that shift in the mindset. If we greet each other and say, how are the children? And our children are not well, as a whole in society, we know that our children are not well. So how are we judging our success? Are we judging our success as Americans by the number of billionaires that we could crank out? Or are we judging ourselves based on how are the children?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
We have questions in the chat.
That was very powerful. What do you have in the chat room? What's going on? Because the chat room lit up after that.
Nikki Sunshine wants to know what ages is the book for? Young kids or
All
teens
ages,
too?
because the conversations need to be had.
That's
All
right.
ages.
All ages. Even some grown-ups need to be
Absolutely
shine on brown skin girls.
That happens across the board.
Well,
right?
some of our women that in the video taking their clothes off. I'm sorry, I gotta say that they need to read that book too. The importance of who you are and what you stand for
Sure.
is not your body and how much surgery you've gotten, but your integrity and who you are.
Right. Shouldn't be superficial.
Right. Janice John wants to know what school district Miss Williams is from.
District 17.
They trying to get these. I'm trying to see I can get my grandbaby in Brooklyn.
Renee
She need
Mickens.
to be in your school.
Flatbush, Brooklyn.
Renee Mickens says she's going to buy some books for the young girls in her family.
Oh, shout out to Renee Mickens.
Shout out to Renee Mickens.
Big
And again,
supporter.
I'm open to doing read alouds. You guys can follow me on my Instagram, principal_shine on Lakeisha. You can follow me there, and I'm available for read alouds.
And don't forget, Lakeisha is Lakeeasha.
You know, Maria, I'm gonna tell you. You know what you should do? You should hook up with Ralph McDaniels. Doesn't
For
he
the
have?
Queens?
Yeah, for the library.
He's at the libraries in
Right.
Queens.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd
But
be a great format for her.
I have
He's been
somebody.
doing them virtually since the pandemic, but
That's
that's an excellent platform for you.
Yeah, and my friend Crystal on Community Board 10, she works the
So
library
some
in
people reaching
Harlem.
out to me. I'm gonna put my email in the chat. So I already said you guys can follow me on Instagram, but I'm gonna put my email in the chat as well. You can email me and I'm open.
Janice John said, "Would you be willing on speaking at a PTA meeting?"
Oh
Absolutely.
yeah,
That was in the chat.
yeah. And I want to ask you about what is the Still I Thrive, an anthology project that focuses on preserving through the pandemic. What is that about?
Persevering through the pandemic.
Persevering.
Yes. So that's a And some of my, we call each other cousins. I see some of my co-authors on this Zoom as well. But there was a group of us who got together, and we, the lead author, PK Kersey, introduced this concept of, again, stories, the importance of stories. Everyone was struggling during the pandemic, especially like when it was beginning and we were just in it.
Trying to figure out.
We wanted to tell like stories of triumph, like how are you thriving through this pandemic? But let's share our stories. And so a group of us, about 24, 25 authors got together, and we all wrote our short stories of how we were able to persevere through the pandemic. So it's these two books that I use, because for me, it's not just about selling the books, right? But it is about using these, about the next steps in terms of workshops, working with children, working with different people in the community, so that I'm able to provide the additional tools and resources to help our people be able to persevere. Like, people are really struggling out here.
Yeah,
it's
are.
Hard.
They are.
Like, we're going as a society. This is uncharted territory, right? So we need each other now more than ever before. And so these books just serve as the platform to connect with people, so that I'm able to continue to do the extension work. Because again, going back to my company, Brick House Unlimited, that's what I found during the pandemic, because I was meeting with my families weekly, and they were just like so grateful and appreciative for the support that my team and I at the school was able to provide for them. And I'm the type of person, I'm always saying to myself, like, what else can I do, right? And I said, you know what, I need to extend this, because we're not going to have great schools if the families are broken.
So
the families are broken. We have to make the families whole. That's how we're able to take care of the children, so that they can do well in the schools. But we can't do it in isolation, because schools are not a separate entity from society. Schools are a part of society. So we have to engage with the community in order to make these things happen. So I'm not here. I don't do this job alone. In my school, I'm always talking about the whole concept of team, right? It's not just me. I'm the quarterback, but I have a team. I have an offensive line, I have a defensive line, I have a kicker. I have so many different people on the team, and this is how we win. This is how we make it work. That's how schools win. So it's not just, what are the teachers doing? What are the principals doing? It's what is everybody in the community doing? We all have a responsibility to make sure we can answer that question. And we know what that question is. How are the children?
Wow, that's deep. Girl, you got me all fired up. I'm like, where you want me to report to? I can be a kicker too. I'm telling you, this is
fabulous.
Great conversation and powerful.
I even before my podcast, I never had been in a conversation like this before, where she's saying the family is broken. If the family is broken, then how does the child come to school and be able to perform properly,
right,
and be the best that they can be? If their family, if they don't have access to food, if they don't have access to the simple things that they need, even internet, even sleeping, right? A good night's sleep. How about that?
Yeah.
Not to mention all the other things they're going through, the sexual abuse,
absolutely,
neglect.
Things that happen, sure.
Absolutely.
No discipline.
Absolutely. And so,
and then, sometimes in this work, I find that, people are like, oh, well, that's not every child. That's not all schools, et cetera, et cetera. And that may be the case. So then I'm not speaking to you, right? But I'm speaking to the data that says 65% of our children are not proficient. That's a problem.
And wait a minute. And the 85% that's in the prisons that are black people. How about that?
Right. That's a problem. So
right.
That's the population that I'm speaking to, right, because that's the trend that we need to reverse.
Right. Because all of those little brown-skinned boys that were told or felt in some kind of way that they were not going to be anything because the family done told them. Some of the conversations I hear some people telling their kids is cussing their kids out in the street, people that are frustrated and don't know how to communicate, and then telling little children, you look just like your daddy and I hate your dad. I'm like, oh my God.
Well, I mean, communication is a big problem in the black community. And to yourself, and being able to communicate. You know what I'm saying? Just being able to speak and resolve conflict. That's an issue.
And the biggest issue is mental health. People think that mental health is the person coming out of Bellevue, the man on the train that might be homeless. No, mental health is serious, and that's including me too, and including that the trauma that we go through life. I'm an AIDS survivor. That was traumatic.
Yeah.
So, thank God I had such support system around me that I did not go down another slippery slope and decide, because I've met people that say, I'm going to infect everybody I know.
Right, sure.
And, I went on and graduated out of, college in New Rochelle. But that's because I have a prayer life. That's because I had, spiritual people around me, whether they were connected to the church or not. They just had positive affirmations to pour into me. And that is so important. We've been told so long, to me, there's strikes. Being black is the first strike. And I'm saying it's a strike. It's a privilege. And then the second strike is being a black male. Black men, and I try to reiterate this to my young women all the time. Black men got it rough. I know they got some issues with them, but I'm going to tell you, some of those issues come from not being able to support the family the proper way that you know how to. How do your man, have you asked your man how he feels about not being able to support you instead of just beating up on him every day? Maybe a kind word of encouragement might help them get on a better track. Or when they come home from being incarcerated, are you really supporting them and trying to help them, push them?
Put them in the right direction, and put them on the right track.
Because you get people, when they come home, the family treats them worse than the community does. And so
what we're trying to do over here, in my school in the OSG, we're trying to prevent that. We're trying to prevent them from even going to prison.
That's right. And
that's what we're trying to give them. That's why we're having the conversations. A lot of times someone in the chat say, what do you do to reach parents or whatever? Honestly, it's what you do to reach anybody, what you do to reach children, to reach your friends, to reach your mate. So it doesn't matter. Communication, but not communicating so that we can respond, but just so we can empathize with other people. We have to, just hear people out. And I know sometimes in positions as this, right, we want to tell you, but no, it doesn't go like that, So oftentimes in my school community, or even over the weekend, I also partner with an organization where I'm a mentor as well to the youth. And my mentoring style is you tell me. It's not for me to tell you, it's for you to tell me. Because as Lace was sharing earlier, monies is available, but it's the way these monies are being allocated.
Absolutely.
Are we listening to people? Are we really sitting down and hearing people? So which is why it's important to speak to, which is why it's important, like Lace said, when we're out here in these streets, we're on the ground, we're in the shelters, we're in the community centers, we're out on the weekends, right? And you gotta roll up your sleeves and do this work at the ground level. Because when you're at the ground level and you're connecting with the people and you're listening to the people, then you're able to provide for their needs, not doing something that makes you feel good. So you can say, you know what? I donated, I don't know, 100 purses, but maybe they didn't need a purse. Maybe they needed some food. And I'm just using that as an example, right?
Excellent
so it's not about what you feel good about doing, but it is what do they need? What does that person need?
I want to ask
Shine, let me add to that, because there's something another part that we have to add to what Shine is saying. Also, financial literacy in our community is almost non-existent. And I think that's another arm of what OSU does. They're big on teaching financial literacy, because at the end of the day, you can't change the schools if you don't own your neighborhood.
That's
y'all
right.
killing each other for blocks that y'all don't own. Y'all renting these projects and y'all shooting each other over these projects, and y'all don't even own these projects. So at the end of the day, we have to now also add that to where we can really claim ownership in our community, as opposed to having people just come in there and just like it's almost like they're playing a game with us. They devalue the community, buy it, and then come back in there and buy it all up and then try to kick us out.
That's right.
We have to now get financial literacy.
Absolutely. And so again, it's like I said earlier, it's not only enough for me that my granddaughter is learning this, but every child that I encounter. So I have another community organization that I partner with to provide that financial and entrepreneurship learning to my school community as young as kindergarten. So my children are already thinking about, what businesses they want to own. If they write business plans, they're in the works now. Every year we have a showcase, where our children just share out their different businesses. But again, it goes back to, we have to make this the norm. Like, this has to be normal.
Yes, it has
What
to be
business do you
normal.
want? What business do you want?
Right,
We gotta have
right.
these conversations so our children know. Remember, I said the mind is a powerful thing. So yes, we have to teach them as early as kindergarten about the value of money, about financial literacy, about investments, and being an entrepreneur. Throw out that question, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Yes.
What problems do you want to solve in this world?
Absolutely.
What problems do you want to solve? Our children as young as elementary school, so we can't wait till our kids get to high school. We got to lay this foundation now. So my children in my school community, they're in student government as well. Like when the elections and everything was taking place last year, I saw that these politicians was going around, with their platforms, trying to engage, with the voters and sharing their platforms. And I said, you know what, come talk to my student government, because they have concerns as well. But I have these conversations with my children. So my children came up with some things that they were really concerned about: food insecurity, the crime, homelessness. Like, these are things that they were concerned about, healthy eating. Elementary school children. But you know why? Because we have these conversations with them. What do you see as a need in your community, and how do you want to fix it? Imagine if we get all of our children thinking like this, where we're not victims. Now we know that things, are not. We know that things are not in the best place for us, right? I definitely acknowledge that. However, we cannot turn around and victimize our children. No, you're victors. That's what you are.
Right.
What do you see going on that you don't like? And let's do something about it. And that's what we do. And we engage our children in these service learning projects so that they're able to do something about it. Like right now, my student government is very concerned about the food that the kitchen people are serving them. And I had a call with somebody from DOE last week, and I said, you need to come down with your team and sit down with my children, because they don't like this food. We need to revise the menu, and we need to make sure that not only is the food healthy, but the food is also appealing and good to my children. That is teaching children how to be proactive and how to fight the good fights. But if we're not teaching them this and raising them up in this way, why are we so surprised when they don't know how to do this as young adults?
Absolutely. I want to ask you a question. So, I grew up in the low income community. Do you think, because downtown on Chambers Street where my son attended, the school was basically Caucasian and a sprinkle of black people, but it was a public school. But up in Harlem, you don't have schools like that. You have to fight. You have to have ask for special permission and get a waiver to be able to go to school in a good community. Do you feel that the parents, of course, because that's how they do our community, but do you think that the parents, if they became more involved, because I'm gonna tell you, I was very involved in both my children when they were going to school. I was at the PTA. I did the cooking of the food. I had the kids walk with me in the AIDS walk. They didn't get away with nothing. But I was a very active parent. But every time there was a PTA meeting, you saw very little African American
participants. Yeah.
But the Caucasian people, they was all there. They was all at all the meetings. So do you think that also has shines a light on why we're not getting what we need in areas where they're low income and the schools are not considered the best schools?
Of course it has something to do with it. But let me tell you how I see things, right? I look at the data, and that's data, right? You can't dispute that, right? That there's low turnout, right? But when I look at data, I always try to unpack that data to try to figure out why, right? Why is this data this way? And that's how I try to attack, the issues, or try to bring some resolutions to the table. And so even with families, going back to the point I made earlier, the way that we engage our families is, what do you need? I just sent out a survey over this weekend because we're doing like our spring, ramp up in supporting our families. You have to meet people where they are. We know where we want them to be. Remember, Maslow's right top of that pyramid. We know we want them to be there, but it's steps to get there.
Right.
So we have to meet them where they are. What is it that you need? So once I gather up enough community, things to like care packages, if you will, to make sure that my families are taken care of, then I could get them on the back end to be more proactive, and just schools in general. But again, I'm never going to be the person to just say, oh, well, they don't come, they don't care, that's that. There's reasons for everything. And going back to, if you have not been exposed to how to interact properly with the schools and how to support the schools, and you don't know, how is it ever going to change if we're not willing to bring in different experiences? So you talk about a school like mine that I inherited, which is number 29 out of 32 schools in terms of performance, in terms of ranking in the district, right? You're talking about a school that where the parents, it was a different type of involvement, but not the one that moved the school forward. Mm-hmm. But now, years later, what I was able to do is even get to a point where I had families writing grants. It can be done, but you have to sit down with people and engage with them and meet them where they are. And over time, you will get them. But I'm not going to even talk about this pandemic because it threw a monkey wrench in everything. Right. And now we need all types of supports to kind of like get our families back together. But I stand firm in my belief of, once you identify whatever the issues are, right, then your energy has to go into how can you eradicate those barriers. But far too often, what happens in our society is we see issues and we say, oh, it's them, it's the families.
Right.
It's like, but who is talking about possible resolutions that we need to do over and over again? And all of us, because when we say it takes a village to raise children, that is the absolute truth. It takes a village. So the village is no longer engaged with raising children, and that's the problem. That's the main problem, in my opinion.
So, Lakeisha, I have a question. What causes some schools to get more money than other schools?
Their grades.
In terms of funding.
Their grades.
What causes that trigger?
It's not the grades. You know, the funding system for schools across the country, if we really do the research, is based on the Jim Crow era racist strategy of real estate taxes. So if we still have that formula in place, now do we understand why the system in and of itself is not equitable? Because of course we know in the neighborhoods where you get more real estate taxes, you get more funds. Wow. Then you have some schools where you have strong PTAs, but that speaks to parents and their ability to raise funds. But I just got finished telling you, but over in my school, I'm trying to help our families with things that they need help with. They're not raising hundreds of thousands of dollars for my school. And I honestly believe they don't have to. They shouldn't have to, because we need to create a system across the country. This is not a New York City's problem. Across the country, we need to identify, right? And to me, I kind of feel like it is like, we know. Like, who are we fooling? We know what all schools need. So it needs to just be as simple as that. If we believe that mental health is a problem, then we should make sure every single school has school counselors and social workers and a mental health partnership.
Absolutely.
Right? And we believe that children thrive when they have the arts in schools, then guess what? Then we should have that. If we believe, I hear there's a bill going around in New York City now, so that we can have a universal after-school program. I came to my school in 2018. There was no after-school program here. But year one, because I'm out about in the community, I like piecemeal together a program so that my children could have something. It wasn't a full-blown 5 days a week to 6 o'clock program, but everybody got something in my building. What I'm saying, if we know that's important, then every school should have it. Right. Every school should have all of the general education teachers that they need, the special education teachers that they need. There should be no question about that. There should be no question about that. The only thing that a principal should have to do is decide on which teachers they want to hire, or decide on, which furniture they want to buy, et cetera. Like I'm just not buying furniture for my school because my school was in debt. I'm just not able to buy furniture because if I didn't have the money, I didn't have the money. But I'm just not able to replace furniture that has been there for basically 30 years.
Wow.
That's insane.
Yes,
what I'm
insane.
saying is the money is there. It's the way we allocate the funds. Right. There should be no tricky formulas, none of that. Right. If we say these are the 10 things that all schools should have, then we need to make sure all schools have them everywhere. If the school is open and if the school is accepting children, and if we feel that as a society, if we believe that these are the 10 things that every school should have, then every school should have it. Bottom line, every school should have it. And that's not the case. So oftentimes when people start talking about the money, I'm like, listen, money is there. It's the way the funds are allocated. That's the problem. But that goes back to the inequities that exist in our society. Throw away this strategy of funding schools based on real estate taxes. Just throw that away. And we're not ready to talk about that, then we're not ready to equalize schools.
Wow. Big shout out to Allison Farrington. She's in the chat room and she says, absolutely, Shine. We need to learn how to allocate properly. That's what she says.
Yeah. Girl, you need to run. First of all, I want to know how you doing these 12,000 things when you get time for yourself. That's what I want to talk about. What does self-time look like?
How do you care for yourself?
Right, how do you care? Because you on 1,000 different platforms, and I'm loving it. I am loving it. But how do you take care of yourself to keep yourself focused on the platforms? Plus, you have children and you got a child who's doing Serenity Nails, who's doing, great.
She's a little boss.
Yeah, she's a little boss. I mean, what do you do to take care? I know the brunch release some because I'm still dancing after the brunch.
But that's important to me. I've been an educator for 24 years. And, started as a paraprofessional. But no matter what position I held, I always pride myself on having a balanced life. So I work hard, but I also play hard. When I'm at work, I'm at work. I'm doing what needs to be done. But when I'm not at work, I'm also doing what needs to be done. Whether it be, we recently had a vacation visiting my hometown because my parents moved back home, went and spent time with them. Like that's important to me. Doing things with my children. Like I love my children, they're young adults. When I was raising them, I was very big on, I'm not your friend. But you know what? Now
that's right. Thank you. Say that again.
They're my best friends.
Yeah. Once they become older.
Yes.
When they become older, we can be the best friends. But when we raising them, we are not your best friend, honey.
No, I'm not your friend.
My daughter.
But now that they're adults, we're best friends. I enjoy my children. They were there. My son and his wife was there last night as well. I enjoy my children.
Do you go to the spa? Do you get the hot stones on your back? Listen, we had.
Listen. I have my own private masseuse that comes to take care
of me. La la. Shine on, shine.
Is Deani Marte still there? Because I saw Deani. Is Deani Marte still there?
I'm still here, Ms. Davis.
So I just want to bring him in because Principal Shine was with me the other day when we were up at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yes.
And Deani has a daughter and daddy crude spa. So he is inviting prayerfully, Lay's done hooked him up, introducing him to everybody. His story's incredible, but he has a spa, so I'm trying to get on a spa date at his place, but it's especially for daughters and their fathers.
Yes.
And I think that is so powerful, and he gonna be selling Serenity's nail polish in there too. We're gonna make that happen.
Of course. Look, I just promoted Sean's book on my Instagram immediately as soon as she put it on the chat.
Right, because you got all the daughters and the daddies. Yeah, sorry.
Right. I'm here for everything.
Thank you so much. And I definitely talked to my son, about you, and look out for a phone call soon.
Oh,
No problem.
that is
That
so.
sounds amazing.
See, that's what this is about.
Connecting
Yeah,
people.
and see that when I started Can't Be Silenced podcast, that's what people was like. They all thought I was going to talk about music and have all these different people on it. That's good too. Yeah, but that's good too. But I want to know the people that's in the music that's trying to make a difference in this community. How do they show up, and why don't they show up? Because nobody has the opportunity not to show up. In anything in life.
I mean, you're too much of an activist to only be doing music. Like you had to know that this was going to happen. Like you're just too much out there like that with that type of energy. You know what I'm saying?
And I also want to shout out Miss Baps. I think that's Tashana Pace right there. Miss Baps. She is the director of the Drew Hamilton Community Center up there in Harlem, and I've done a lot of things at her place, non-for-profit, so I get to get the room for free. But I'm sure Ms. Baps, I think Tashana, that she would be great bringing some books, and she could do a little reading, whether it's virtual or not. Are you there?
Are you there, Tashana? Unmute yourself.
Or she just listening and cooking dinner.
Tashana, you trolling? Are you trolling? Don't be trolling. We want participation.
Yes.
Sometimes.
So I just think this has been a great.
Absolutely.
This can't only happen one time.
Yeah.
We got to bring.
She definitely has to come back.
Yeah. Who said something? Oh.
Miss Babs is saying absolutely.
Let me say something before I go, because I'm about to get off too. I gotta go. I'm going to hang out with Easy Breezy.
Lord, tell
Easy.
Easy Breezy was nice to meet. When he introduced him to me yesterday, I said, I'm tired of hearing your name.
Me too.
Easy Breezy McKeezy. I said he says your name with love and such love and admiration.
Easy Breezy Dennis McKeezy.
I know.
Yes, that's my dog. That's my dog right there. But let me just say this before I go. First of all, this was an amazing show. One of your best, Maria. This was a great podcast today. I really enjoyed it. It was informative. You got to see that powerful energy that is Shine, because she definitely is Shine for real. But also, let me just say this to y'all. Let's not judge all of us by the worst of us, and let's try to bring up those that are struggling so they can get with people, because we need more shines out there.
Yes,
let's
we
not
do.
give up on our community, because we're doing great, but we can do better. We got a lot of people out there that need help, and we can help them out. And sometimes we get stuck in that funk where we like, this is what they do. It's a brainwashing technique where they try to assign the worst of our society to all of us. I'm saying let's just make it all good so we can all be good.
Yeah.
Smoke Lace with more perspective. Shout out to my OSP fans.
That's right. Promote Lays tomorrow morning. What is your topic tomorrow morning, Lays?
Yes, what's your topic tomorrow morning?
I got a lot of topics tomorrow morning. I'm going to talk about, I'm talking today about are we prepared as Black people in this country if that war will come to us? Are we so disconnected that we're not even prepared to fight for the country? We talked about that today. And then also we talking about my boy Smooth B from Nice and Smooth is coming on Wednesday. So we're going to promote that, play some of his music. And it's Go-Go Tuesday. So we got Ask Dr. D Nice tomorrow, because her perspective is so crazy that I love it. And it's so good that we got to ask Dr. D Nice tomorrow. So come on, 6 o'clock in the morning. Have a great time. We have a great show. And it's going to be there from Monday through Thursday, 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. and 5:30 for the morning yawning.
Well, how
What's
do they get on
the page?
show?
Where's the page, Lace?
How do they go to get on?
Go to Lace Elliott. Go right to my page, and then go right to my YouTube channel, and go right to anything else. Just punch in Lace, you'll find me, and go right there. And
That's right, because you the man, Lace.
He's special.
Lace, I have one of my sisters up here, Darlene Lewis. She's doing on March 19th. She is doing a Black Film Festival. So I want to.
Did I used to date her? Did I used to date her back in the day?
Oh Lord.
Oh Lord,
Is that
Darlene. Darlene, did you used to date Lazen back in the day?
She said, no.
She's like, no.
Yeah, you know, before you go into the filmmaker, the Future Films Fest, I wanted to network more with Miss Shine, because I like what she's talking about, and I know how hard it is to get funding. You know, my family, we have an after-school program, and I started an anti-violence initiative job readiness program called Hands That Make a Difference. And I put the information in the chat. And I'd like to network with you because it took us 10 years, but we finally started getting the funding that we needed. And we're trying to do things in the community, but the politicians are something else in our community.
That's a whole nother That's a whole nother conversation.
That's a whole nother.
Yes.
But you know what? I pray for them, and they're there for the photo ops, and it's okay because we kept on keeping on. But in regards to the Future Films Fest, thank you, Maria, for having me on.
You're welcome.
Darlene, can you drop your email in the chat? I'll see it.
Sure, surely will. Sure.
Yeah, you
and I
gotta
also
connect.
put the
Shine.
I put the information about the after school program. We have 2 locations. I'm telling you, God is good. You just don't know. You just don't know. And every day kids are coming in, you know, gang members, high school students, older people that's trying to get back. I mean, people are hurting. People need something to do. And you'd be surprised, the job readiness and anti-violence initiative that I created called Save Our Seeds, it started out as a dream. But if people are finally, you know, feeling it and we're trying to make a difference. So far I have like 20 youth and I'm trying to get 100 youth. And we give them a little money every time they come, you know, just as an incentive, but they're learning how to do resumes. They're learning how to dress for success. I'm partnering with people. Like, it's all about networking. We have to network. We have to save our youth because these schools are letting our kids down. They don't see themselves in the education process. And this is why a lot of them are failing because they don't identify with a westernized civilization. You know, so we teach them how to be self-sufficient. We have a company, number 27 on Essence Beauty List, that's teaching them how to make beauty products so they can have their own business.
Wow.
And these are 14 to 24-year-olds. And it's a beautiful thing. And we right here, 127 West 127th Street. And then we have an after school program and a STEM program on 153rd. So it's handsthatmakeadifference.org. Go there. It's family owned, family run. And every year we take the kids after summer camp, because we also have a summer camp. We take them to Disney World.
Wow.
And guess what? The after school program is free. We show you how to get the vouchers. It's all about knowledge. It's who you know, because they don't let us know about these free resources out here.
Well, you said something very important too, and I want to ask you and Principal Shine about the violence that is going on in our community. Principal Shine, has it affected your school?
Sure, because we have children who has lost, relatives, which is why our community, first and foremost, communities like mine, not just mine in general, but we live in New York City, so we definitely has suffered. We've suffered greatly due to the uptake of crime. But again, even when I look at those statistics, I'm going to go back to say
why?
What is missing? Right? What is missing? What do we need to do as a society to try to reverse that? And I know something that I'm currently working on is a youth job fair, right? Because again, I told you that I'm mentoring some young ladies, and that's their thing. Like, we need jobs, and usually when you see job fairs, it's always for adults.
Yes.
But I really see job fairs for the youth. Give our kids a job.
That's crazy.
Again, children who are on the right track, if they're asking for this, then we need to give it to them. So I said, you know what? Let's do it. So you see how I am? Like, let's do something about it. If that's your top priority, then we got to figure out a way to make it happen. But, I'm already a principal in the school working with children to help them do what? Be able to resolve conflict. Because when I see crime, especially amongst our young children or the youth, because we don't talk to them enough about how to resolve conflict in peace, right? In peace. But we have to give them the training for that. So when we talk about the school to prison pipeline, and as a new principal in the community, I've oftentimes said to my staff, like, this is not Rikers Island. Like, I didn't go into law enforcement. I'm not here to punish children.
Amen.
Right?
Amen.
I'm here to love children. I'm here to redirect children. I'm here to give children, you know, the tools that's necessary so that they can express themselves respectfully, so that they can make better decisions, because we have to teach them. In the word discipline is disciple, which means to teach. So if all we're doing is looking to punish children, we're looking at it from a punitive perspective, and we're not giving them the tools that they need to resolve conflicts. Again, why are we so surprised? And I'm talking about the crime that's plaguing our children.
Right. Because
what do we need to do differently, right? But on the flip side of that, which is why I also do things like Still I Thrive for the adults. So for me, like, we got to work with our children, but we also have to work with the adults and give everybody what they need, right?
Absolutely.
Because I also have meetings with families sometimes, and I'm like, we're talking about 6-year-olds. We're not sending 6-year-olds to school to kill somebody else.
Right.
Because somebody may have, you know, pushed somebody. Things happen with children, right? But again, we want to help our children be able to make better choices and make better decisions. But our children they're angry, and we have to do something about that, right? Like, our children are angry. Like, the first recourse can't be to hurt someone,
right?
And that's something that we have to own,
right?
Because if our children as young as elementary school, if that's their first recourse, like, sometimes I'll say to a child, "Oh, he stepped on my foot." I'm like, did you give him the opportunity to apologize? Did you give him the opportunity to apologize, right? And if he apologizes, accept it and let's move on. Somebody stepping on your foot is not the green light to now attack someone physically.
Right.
And I say to children a lot too, like, you have a right to your emotions and how you may feel. You can be angry. I'm never going to tell a child, don't be angry about something, because that's your emotions and that's how you feel. But we got to learn how to control our emotions, because you don't have a right to hurt people either with your words or your hands.
Wow.
You're emulating adults.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. Emulating adults.
But you know what? I also,
a lot of work.
I want to also say that, our youth are so desensitized because of the external influences that have come into their lives within this last 20 years of social media, the music,
video games,
and also parents and families not loving each other and becoming displaced. And so the pressure is on the youth, and they have access to so much information. And then we are living in times of war, and it all starts when they're young. Like, parents start buying guns and soldiers and weapons for their boys, and then they let them do anime, which always shows a dripping knife with blood. And so the subliminal seduction of violence is engraved in our youth at such an early age that by the time they're in high school or even elementary school, where they have to walk through a metal detector, that's a psychological problem right there in itself, because now they're being treated as if, they're criminals. So we have to start talking about how we are educating our youth and how we are allowing them to absorb external factors.
Right.
When I was coming up, we had karate, we had shop, we had different things. We had music, we had art, we had prayer. They've taken all of the emotional entities that children need, especially children of color, because we work from a vibration. Our kids are different. And so they've taken these things out of the schools, and so the kids don't have any way to release. Sometimes they don't even have gym, and then you have boys that you want them to sit still, and if they don't sit still, something must be wrong with them.
Black boys cannot sit still. Black children
that's not a testosterone activity to just sit still. So we have to start engaging in how we are raising these children and what are the factors that are influencing our youth. And we have to start going after these external factors that have taken our youth and used them. And these youth are sponges, because they come in, they don't really want to be hurt. We have a foster care system that just throws the kids out to the streets.
Yes.
They don't get play. I'm a therapeutic foster parent. My family been taking care of kids for almost 40 years. They conned me into being one. And I've had and you know, and I get it, but I've had all types of youth. You know what I do? When I see them frustrated, I take them to the garden. I show them how to grow their own stuff. Because that's what saved me.
Love.
You know?
Love is called
Farming
love.
and being outdoors. And so they have to, you just have to find a way to deal with them from a human point of view. And at the same time, take away their privacy. Parents are afraid to invade their privacy of their youth. They're afraid to talk to their children with discipline. Like you said, disciple. You know, discipline is the key word for respect.
And we're not their best friends.
Well, I mean, you can be friendly, but you have to let them know the level of authority. There's a hierarchy.
Yes, absolutely.
They have no respect.
And a lot
for
of young people feel that if you buy materialistic stuff, you know, that's the way. No, you have to earn your keep. You have to earn your keep. Okay. So there's certain things that, you know, I wrote a book called Don't Be Stupid, and I'm going to try and get them in all of the schools because I use that because that's what saved me when I was an 18-year-old on my own. And I know it'll work, but people have to apply. But anyway, I don't want to preach. It's just that when you talk about the youth, you know, I was once that troubled youth. So I understand the mindset. But, you know, what saved me was writing and getting published at an early age. And then my friends, you know, in the hip hop world, you know, became famous and writing poetry and then having the TV shows. And so that's what saved me. They need outlets. They need ways to release whatever tension that they have and somebody that believe in them.
Well, just to jump into the
youth need. They need people to believe in them, and parents have to bring that confidence factor back because we're working so much. We're not thinking about the stress that we're putting on these youth.
Just to jump into the chat room a little bit. So we have Valerie Gamachi. She says, for sure, reality shows are emulating being verbally and personally aggressive towards each other. Claudia C.C. Perez from Mi Gente Mi People, that the show we do on Saturdays.
Claudia.
She's in the house. She said family dinners are no longer happening at the table anymore. So
they were happening during COVID, though. Everybody had to sit down during COVID. Husbands met their wives during COVID. Because some people, they so used to being out the house, they didn't even know that they were husband and wife.
Listen, some people didn't like their husband or their wife when they got stuck in COVID, you know. Some people it went bad for. That's all I'm saying.
Principal Shine, before I let Darlene talk about
I didn't see your email in the chat.
I put it. Okay, I'll put it. Oh, I sent it to Maria. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yeah, put it in the chat.
Would you have anything? Because I know you was trying to chime in when she was talking about, you know, we have to look at the youth differently.
No, she's absolutely correct, right? We have to meet our children where they are. You know, that's the gist of it, and it takes people, you know, like us who are willing to do that, and it's important. But I always say, you know, all of those different things that you described, those are adult problems, and what I mean by that, those are adult problems that they place onto children. So again, how are we surprised when we see the children react the way that they react? Because it's the adults that's creating these reality television shows and behaving in this manner, doing XYZ. All of those different things you name come from adults, right? So so again, that's why it makes you believe that this has to be the intended outcome. Because otherwise, why are we doing that?
Right.
You know, there are some studies done that when they had shows like A Different World on, they turned out, you know, statistically more children of color that went to HBCUs.
Absolutely.
Right? So back to the mind, like what are we feeding? What are we feeding to the minds of our children?
Absolutely.
So if we strip all of those things away, and then our children are just bombarded with negativity every day, they don't love themselves. And if they don't love themselves, then how can they extend love to someone else? hence I'm gonna go back to my book before we close out.
Yes,
Shine on Brown
yes.
Girl, right? Because
Shine
we have
on
to
Brown
make sure
Girl.
that we are filling our children up with love, with support, with care, with forgiveness. Because I find that too sometimes when people, when they work with children, they're children, right?
Yes.
Going to make mistakes, but they need us to help, guide them and give them the freedom to be children, right? But still show them that love, care, and concern, and help them make better decisions as they continue to grow up. But it could be done. I was a teen mom. I did it.
Mm-hmm.
2 Black boys, they did it. There's countless of examples. And so when I see that, that's the hope that I cling to. And that's why I lead the way that I lead. Because I know that if a child growing up in East New York next door to a crack house can be all of these things, and I'm just starting, right? If I can do it, then so can they.
Yes, absolutely.
And that's what guides my work.
This is...
In the chat, Cheryl said, thank everyone for all this information to share with our youth. Love, meet people where they are. So true. Thanks, Maria.
Wait, I just want to make this announcement, and I want Darlene to talk about her film festival. Brittany, we wanted to talk about this. Brittany, how do you say her last name? Grunner, a 2-time Olympic gold medalist and 7-time Women's National Basketball Association All-Star with the Phoenix Mercury basketball team, has been arrested in Russia after customs officials detected cannabis oil in her luggage at an airport near Moscow. That's crazy. And she in Russia right now, through all this mayhem.
She's just become a pawn.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's a pawn in this game.
And then we want to also shout out Miss
Autherine Lucy Foster was the first Black student to enroll in the University of Alabama. She passed away at 92. University officials announced her death in a statement. Foster, in 1956, briefly attended classes at an all-white university. She was expelled 3 days later after her presence brought protests and threats against her life. Foster, a graduate student studying education, had faced hostile crowds hurling racial charged threats and debris. The university later celebrated Foster's legacy and her role in desegregating the institution and her bravery. Her death came less than a week after university officials dedicated the campus building where she briefly attended classes in her honor.
See, now this is stuff we don't hear about. Also, Hidden Figures. Remember when Hidden Figures came out? It was like
most incredible movie ever.
It was Black women that
sending them to space.
People to the space. Get out of here.
Doing the math.
And that made me feel, even as an adult, that made me feel incredible. But imagine if we get to hear these stories constantly. For Black History's every day. That's what I want to tell people.
It is. It's every day.
And then we have so many inventions, over 1,000 inventions by Black people.
Sure.
The traffic light, the iron, all these things that we use in our houses daily that children don't even know about.
But society also is like, I had a friend who had on her Cornell University shirt. She's in a store, and this guy says to her, "Oh, where did you get that shirt from?" Like,
she couldn't
have
attend.
went there. Or you have, my goddaughter, when she was in high school, she wanted to attend, maybe an Ivy League school. And her teachers are like, oh, well, that school is too expensive for you. And you need to go to a school with a good debate team. Like, she should not pursue her dream of being a veterinarian. You should go into debate. They guide our children in these different directions and diminish their greatness.
You would be great driving a train. Don't think about.
Oh yeah, they'll do that to you.
You ain't even get it, Denise.
Yeah,
like,
you be a good bus driver.
Right, you be a good bus driver.
Why don't you go get a job? Right,
sanitation.
Yeah, I mean, they told me to get a job in high school. I said, I don't need no job. I said, I don't need a job.
Told you that?
Absolutely. And I was like, I don't need no job. I don't need a job. I felt, because I knew that I was bigger than a job. You know what I'm saying? I knew that I was an entrepreneur by nature, that I wanted to do business. I knew that in high school I wanted to do business. You know what I'm saying? I knew that. So when they were talking about, because my father was an entrepreneur, you know what I'm saying? So I came from that, and other Black people around me. My Aunt Millicent, she owned a beauty salon, so they all, I grew up in that arena of people that gave other people jobs.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I was like, job.
And another thing I want to shout out, I had the opportunity, I only watched part one, Kanye West documentary.
Called Genius.
Genius.
Can I tell you something? His mother was phenomenal.
Yeah.
Just like Principal Shine, it's what you instill. She told him from birth that he was great. And that's why he wouldn't accept anything else. He kept writing and he kept saying, y'all gonna listen to me. You keep saying that I'm a producer and producers don't make great rap. But I'm telling you, I am gonna be a great hip hop artist. I don't like to say rapper. That sound, to me, these other guys that's spewing all this crazy stuff, they rappers. But a hip hop icon. And I don't care what they say about Kanye. He is an inventor. He starts things.
He's an artist. He draws.
An artist.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you one thing. People don't understand that famous people that are very creative also has another side of their balancing mental health. Robin Williams. Let's talk about some black people. Donny Hathaway, who jumped out the window and committed suicide. Phenomenal musician.
Don Cornelius.
You have phenomenal, these creative people, they have something working on the other side of their mind. But people don't sit down and talk to them and say, do you think that you might get something out of just seeing a counselor to help you? But as long as you making money and you on top of the world, they're going to let you do your foolishness, R. Kelly.
Right, there you go.
Dave Chappelle said, don't let them call you crazy.
Right.
Cool.
And you know, the geniuses have another different mindset. So punch that button. Shout out to Kanye West while Darlene tells us about her film.
Listen, my man practiced his Grammy speech before he was even had his foot deep in music. He was practicing his Grammy speech.
And then
I'm telling you guys, I said this earlier, the mind is a powerful thing, which is why it is absolutely critical that our children, we have conversations with them, that we bring them as many different experiences as possible, and we expose them to so many different things, because you have to envision it first. If you can't even envision it in your mind, then you will never achieve it.
Right.
They have to think that it's possible for them. They've got to think that it's possible. And then if they're in an environment where we're cultivating that, like you shared, right? That you were around entrepreneurs.
Right.
So that became the norm for you. And that's what we have to do in our societies. Like, we have to make it normal to want to pick up a book and read. We have to make it normal to say, what are you working on? What are you working on? What are you working on? Right? Because I say to children all the time, follow your passions. I never tell children, oh, let's look at what these people are making in this industry and that industry. Follow your passions. The money will come. Absolutely. The money will come. What is it that you are passionate about? The money will come.
Absolutely.
Right?
That is the truth.
But we don't do enough of this. And because we don't give our children these experiences, they don't have the schema to pull from. So that when, and sometimes as parents, we place our own limitations onto our children. I remember when I first started teaching, and I always had my children doing like vision boards, and they were doing a vision board for their lives. And I remember one young lady, I was teaching 4th grade, and talking about where she was going to live, but she didn't want to put a house down on her board because she said her mother told her that buying a house was too expensive. So she's like 9 years old, and mom is already making her feel like home ownership is impossible.
Right.
But as a teacher, I gave so many different experiences to my children, and I talked to them all the time. And I said to her, if you don't remember anything else, remember when I tell you, go to college, remember this, remember that. And she's now a young adult doing what she has to do for herself. But it takes people to have conversations like this with our children and give them the experiences and the exposure so that they feel like they are a part of the solution to solving issues, in their communities, and just making a difference in their own way, whatever that way may be.
This is we doing a part 2.
Yeah,
This gonna be next month.
We're gonna hit like 7:15. We did 2 hours.
We're gonna bring a bunch of principals on. But Darlene, tell us about your film festival.
Oh, thank you. So the Future Films Fest is a film festival that I created out of being very, very, very concerned about the film festivals that are available to independent filmmakers. And I noticed that it was like a money grab. And then I noticed that the same locations where they wanted you to send stuff was going to one location. So I said to myself, so they're calling all of these different film festivals different names, but the money's going to one location. And I'm saying to myself, well, it's like a money grab. I'm just giving all this money, and are they even gonna call me? Because I'm like, I got some really good, never before seen footage, because a lot of people don't know, but I'm the first female host of any music video hip hop talk show ever on cable. So it was Ralph McDaniels on channel 31, and then I was on channel C&D. And I'm talking 1985. We're talking before there was a BET Raps, before there was an MTV.
What was the name of your show?
The first show was called Goldie's Hot Raps. Mm-hmm. Then I was on Double Exposure, and then lastly on Broadway.
Oh,
so and that's because my family funded Enjoy Records. My cousins, who was my father's cousin, and Bobby Robinson, who had Enjoy Records, but they had a label called Fury Records, and they brought Gladys Knight and the Pips, and they recorded her first hit, Every Beat in My Heart. So when the feds came after Fury and Records, Bobby Robinson started Enjoy Records. So I met most of those rappers, the legends, because of Spoonie G. And then I became the publicist for Pumpkin, who was doing all of the music. This was before there was a Sugar Hill Records. So most of these people became my friends because I was in the Bronx and in Manhattan, right? So make a long story short, I decided that I wanted to showcase products from filmmakers that would not have the opportunity to have their stuff showcased.
And so Robert De Niro's.
I'm sorry?
Robert De Niro's film festival. I'm sure they couldn't get in there.
None of them. Remember back in the day, there was the Black Filmmakers Foundation. Yeah, and so I'm still cool with the Hudlins. So I said, well, you know what? I've never liked working for majors. I interned at CBS. I didn't like working for majors. I've always did my own thing. I've had my own television productions for almost 30 something years. So I said, you know what? Let me get with a few of my friends. So Ron Lawrence, who produced Hypnotize, he was former hitman with Bad Boy Records, produced Hypnotize for Biggie. He produced Jay-Z's Where I'm From, Phenomenal for Jay's LL, Faith I Never Knew, blah, blah, blah. He's a great photographer and filmmaker. So I said, well, Ron, I'm doing a film festival. You want to submit some of your stuff? He was like, sure, I got some shorts. I was like, okay. So he was my first person. So then I met a designer years ago, and she did a movie called Model Behavior. This year she did New York Fashion Week. I said, well, listen, I remember, singing on your movie soundtrack back in 2016. Let's show your movie, because like, where are you showing your movie? Like, I don't understand when people do products and then they don't go to the next level. And she didn't know what to do. So we're going to show that. Then we have a SAG actor who's been doing soap operas. He's going to submit his stuff. Then I have another producer, singer. And then I'm showing something called Moments in Hip Hop, which are montages of interviews that I did of some of our legends of hip hop. And then also my poems was reenacted in a Playetry, which is a play in a poetry format. And we're going to show that. So it's at the Green Room, which is a beautiful event space in Harlem, across from Magic Johnson Theater. And it's March 19th. And futurefilmsfest.com. You can go there.
Can you
or
put
you
that
can
in a
cash
link?
app
She did.
Darlene
Okay.
360. The tickets are 15. And basically we're gonna have a good time, show our works, and hopefully people will like it. And then we're gonna try and show their stuff on streaming services. I created a streaming service, my own, because I got sick of people begging Netflix, to show their stuff. I'm like, you could do this stuff yourself. Like, you could do this yourself. I've been doing this a long time.
Are you still accepting admissions for the film festival?
Well, the film festival is the 19th.
Right. So you already solidified all
So
that.
we've already got flyers, as you can see the people behind me. Those, everything's already aligned up, the paperwork, the flyers, the promotional stuff. But we do have vendor tables available.
How much are the vendor tables?
The vendor tables are 40.
I might want to be a vendor. I sell African American products, but definitely.
But I'm hoping to do this every year. I do the Literary Ladies book tour, which I also do the same thing with writers, because I'm an author of 9 books. So I take unsigned authors, and we go around and we promote our books, and then I get their books in a bookstore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that's what I normally do in the summer months. We do the Literary Ladies book tour, and we also have guys as well. So it's the Literary Ladies and Lads book tour. But the film
you have a date for that already?
For my literary, well, I'm touring every month, but for Manhattan, I haven't picked a date yet because I have to see what happens when I get back from Atlanta.
Awesome.
But that would be so nice if you guys could check that out. And if you go to literaryladybooktour.com, you'll see some of the authors that I'm promoting. And so on Wednesday, my TV show Celebrity Showcase comes on. It's every week.
At what time? What channel?
6:30 to 7.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow! It's on RCN Cable Channel 83, Files 34, MNN Channel 56 and 1996, and online Lifestyle Channel 2 at MNN. But all of that information is at the literaryladiesbooktour.com. All of the stuff, my podcasts, my TV shows. I have an app called the Wear app, which also includes Black inventors on it. It's on the Android, Google Play Store. I created an informational, directional app. And on it, you can learn about interstate travel. And I decided to do Black inventors because of like Maria said, a lot of people don't know about some of the marvelous things that people have invented that we're still using.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
that's on there. So so hopefully you guys can come out.
Tell us again where it is and the address.
And type it in the chat, please.
Sure. At the Green Room. I don't know if you guys know this, but my family, like the gentleman said, used to have businesses. And most of the event spaces that you see coming up now probably is owned by somebody in my family.
Oh, okay.
So that's been something we've been doing a long time. But
and you said the Green Room is across the street.
It's called the Green Room.
That's across the street from Magic Johnson's Theater.
Yeah, you know where that church is.
Yes, Big Daddy Grace Church.
Right in that block.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's 264 West 124th Street.
Okay.
Sounds like we need to have Darlene as a guest for another time.
Yeah.
You would think it's a bookstore because the way the door is, it's like a glass with a bunch of books in it. People walk by it thinking it's a bookstore, but when you open it, you're like, oh wow. So it's an event space. Okay. And it's really nice. It's 2 levels, flat screens, and they're always doing events there. So I decided that I wanted to do something in there
That might
So-
be a good space. My daughter does pop-ups, and she's
Yeah.
trying to find event spaces.
Yeah, people been doing that. People been going there. And then I have a cousin that owns the venue. He has two locations.
Oh, I know where that is. Close to Shrine across the street. Well, diagonal across from the Shrine.
That's my little cousin, Will.
Oh, okay, okay.
Almost 7:30.
You know, my
Maria.
family used to own 22 West.
Oh, get out.
Yeah,
Oh, okay. I love 22 West.
I'm going to eat for it.
Oh, okay. So I appreciate you, darling, coming on. And
Well,
I do
I
want
appreciate
table.
you too. I just found some footage of me interviewing you at a bathroom in one of your events.
At a bathroom.
That you did.
in
That
the
we did at this
bathroom?
really nice Italian restaurant on 119th, I think.
Oh,
you gave-
you talking about what is that name?
That place was. That was the first time I met the comedian, that guy. He was hilarious.
Yes, yes. So
I found that footage. I said, I'm going to show that next week.
oh Lord. Okay, let me see it.
Maria
What?
in the bathroom.
Right, Maria in the bathroom interviewing. So we want
Listen,
to.
I have so much footage of different people. But yeah, the
So-
reel is crazy.
My sister is texting me. She says this has been a great show, and she's already purchased Lakeisha's book.
Oh, wonderful.
I appreciate that. And I put my email in the chat. You know, any like for after school programs, schools, whatever, I'm open to, doing sessions with either the children or depending on the group, young adults. I'm open to that. Like that's the work that I'm doing as well.
Thank you. This has
Thank
been
you.
a great. Every time I do another podcast, it's great. But
Yeah,
this
it's
is-
like it's better than the last one.
Right, right. This has been a great, and I am so honored that you were able to come. We just met on Thursday at 6 a.m. in the morning,
Right.
and I was like, "You think you could be a guest? I think you'd be a great." Just from her spirit and her speaking,
Yeah.
I was like, "I need her on with her."
My sister actually had reminded me. I think I met Lakeisha in Springfield Park. It was supposed to be an Eric Adams thing, but he didn't show up, or he was late, or whatever. And
Okay. I told you I'm always in the community doing
and I
something.
met,
Oh,
and I
wow.
actually had my sister on the phone. I'm like, I met a principal, and she worked at one of your old schools. And she's like, oh, so she said, yeah, that's the girl that you met in the park. And I'm like, oh,
Right? How could you forget Shine?
I know.
So we thank you, and we will support your book. And I'm gonna do your class, and please let me know so I can get my writing. I got to get this book out, at least get it started for this year. And Darlene, I thank you too. What time is the film festival, Darlene?
From March 19th, which is a Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Doors open at 6:30. I'm probably start at 7:30 because you know how POC are.
Mm-hmm. That's your people. Go ahead.
We on CP time.
So it's from 6:30 to 12:30 a.m.
Oh, okay. Oh,
And we're gonna have a little food, cash bar.
Okay.
We're gonna have a nice little time.
All right.
You know, I'm trying to
Party
donate
time.
some money so we can get some more laptops at hands that make a difference.
Okay, wonderful. Well, I want to definitely vendor with my African American products. I got some cups, calendars, all kind of nice things, journals.
Oh, that sounds nice.
Yeah. So and
So I'm putting the information in.
Yes.
oh, let me shout out my principal.
Nikki Sunshine said Darlene is eating sunflowers.
No, pistachio. Wait, did somebody say Nikki Sunshine?
Yes, that's my girl.
Hi, Nikki.
Principal Shine. I want you to meet Nikki. Nikki
Sunshine
is my dear friend, and she owns a comedy club. Her and her husband, Jamie Roberts, she owns a comedy club in Harlem. So I'm going to start doing Sundays starting April 17th on Easter Sunday. I'm going to do Sundays day party because Lays is like, you got to do a day party. I don't come out at night.
Exactly.
You got to do. So
do a day party, please.
you be quiet.
I'll be tired.
So
I come to Mad Wednesdays, 11:30. I'm knocking out.
Comedians.
Mm-hmm.
Are the comedy shows being televised?
Oh, I
No,
don't
we're
know.
not streaming them yet, Darlene. We're possibly in talks trying to do a deal to get it on TV, but there was the idea came up, and I think maybe Maria mentioned it, but if people can't make it to the actual comedy club, that they could watch it and pay a small fee at home. So we're not doing it yet, but maybe soon.
Awesome.
Okay, because I own a streaming service, so I can show you how to do that.
While you eating your pistachios?
Can you put your email in the chat, Darlene?
Sure can.
She's killing those pistachios.
She's killing them pistachios. You making me damn hungry.
Let me tell you.
Them pistachios did not stand a chance at your house.
Listen, let me
at
tell you
all.
something.
No escape.
I am on a health kick. These are some really good, lightly salted pistachios.
She advertising the dang sweet. Are they giving you money? Are they giving you a kickback?
No, but these are plant protein. I'm telling you. It's lightly salted. They taste like butter. I keep them there. If you should see my poodle is looking to see if I'm dropping anything.
Your poodle eat the pistachios too.
No, this will kill him. But every time it drops, he looks down.
I know. We go on so long on this podcast because the conversation is so good. And then Darlene is teaching us about pistachios at the end. You can't get no better than that.
Education doesn't stop.
At all. She letting us know we need to eat plant-based pistachios.
Thank you so much, Maria.
You're welcome. I cannot wait to see you again. I got to get another book for my I should have bought 2 books from you because I got 2 grandbabies. So I have to meet up with you because I need you to write.
Where can I get your book?
On Amazon.
You can get it on Amazon.com.
So next week, you're going to have artists from Mad Wednesdays on
next week, correct?
Next week
is artists from Mad Wednesdays.
Yes, I just wanted to promote that real quick. Next Wednesday is Mad Wednesdays. Next week is the actual Maria Davis Mad Wednesday showcase, and the artists that are on Wednesday.
At the Shrine.
At the Shrine.
That's the 16th?
Yes.
That's the 16th coming up.
That's my birthday.
So what's going to happen is
come celebrate with me? Go ahead.
She should. The artists that are performing will be on the podcast next week to talk about their music. We play some of their music, and that's going to be a great show because we do that once a month in conjunction with Mad Wednesday.
Yeah,
so
we started that last month, and it really turned out to be an incredible.
Deani said he'll definitely be there.
Yep.
Oh, okay. Yes, Deani already started promoting for me. I love you, Deani. And so I guess we're at the end of our show. Kimar, let me shout out Kimar that I do HIV/AIDS work with in National Black Leadership Commission on Health. And also on March 10th next week is National Women and Girls HIV/AIDS Awareness. So that is next week. I think that no, it's the 10th, March 10th.
That's Thursday.
You already.
Today's the 7th.
Oh Lord, this is flying too much. And when do we fall? When do we spring ahead?
After the 16th.
On Sunday. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to mention brand.
Maria.
Yes.
Are you speaking on Wednesday to the girls?
Oh, hey, Miss. Hey, this is my connection from Ohio. Youngstown, Ohio, Sandy. She brings me in to talk at schools, and she done had me with the mayor and city hall and all that, talking about HIV and eradication and what we need to do, HIV and AIDS with the church. Yes, I can speak on Wednesday. Okay. Yes, thank you. Oh, and Kim Park is on. Oh my God.
Can I mention something, Maria?
Go on.
Brand Elevation Marketing in association with NADFAM will be producing a Zoom to salute New York women in Black radio, and it should be an excellent.
And when is that going to be?
Program is going to be on March 17th on the NABFEM FB Live.
Okay. You know what? We need to talk about them featuring Principal Shine's book. That would be a great NABFEM. Yes, we're going to link in the National Black.
We're going to make some connections for you, Principal Shine.
Yes, National Association of Black
Female Executives.
Yes. A bit, Johnny Walker.
Music and entertainment.
Yeah, she was the head of promotions at Def Jam for 10 years.
16.
Excuse me. And on radio, and she lives in Memphis, Tennessee now. But she is my hero. I've been awarded by their organization, and her and I met. Let me tell you a quick story. I love telling the story. I came in her office. She don't know how I got in there. And I looked at her and said, do you know anything about HIV and AIDS? And we've been friends ever since. I bum rush people. I'm sorry. So thank you so much, my beautiful, beautiful guests. And Principal Shine, we will be calling you about NABFEM and featuring you on that. And Darlene, you should be a part of NABFEM too. Are you a part of NABFEM with Johnny Walker?
What is it? What do they do?
The National Association of Black Females Executives in Music and Entertainment, but I'm part of it. But she has NABFEM is all across the country. And
I heard of it.
yeah, all across
I've
the
been
country.
so busy, I don't even know what I'm a part of.
But can I tell you something? Sometimes your network, not sometimes, your network is your net worth. And
Well,
so
you know, I'm all about networking. That's my company, Future Network Productions.
so if you can meet up with other people that can expand what you're doing and that you can add at least another 1,000 people and showing you, exposing you to different states, because NABFEM is in a bunch of states.
It's national.
Yeah, it's national. It's national. So
That would be wonderful. Just
Okay.
send me the information. Come on,
that's
whatever
sure.
you want.
I'm an ambassador and I'm a member of NABFEM as well as Denise. Shout out to Gwen Kingsbury. She ain't come on, but shout out to our sister Gwen Kingsbury.
She's teaching.
So before we end with one of my artists that had the opportunity to perform last month. And she's coming to New York to be on off Broadway. Incredible, and just an incredible talent. So we're going to play the music for a little while. And as y'all leave the room, you
fade out.
You can fade out whenever you want to. But Cant Be Silenced podcast happens each and every Monday at 5 p.m. I'm very thankful for Deneen Womack, who's been picking me up from my home to bring me to the studio here in Queens. And I'm very appreciative of her. And also Mad Wednesdays, which will be on March 16th at the Shrine in Harlem. Doors open at 8 p.m. AIDS Walk New York is Sunday, May 15th. So if you'd like to walk with me, wasn't able to do it for 2 years because of the pandemic. But my last words is make sure that we instill kindness and loving words to each other. And God bless you. And as I pray for you, I ask you to continue to pray for me. Love each and every one of you. And thank you for your support. Please spread the word. And God bless you. Love you, OSG and Lays.
When I wake up and see your face, I smile and I feel your warm embrace. I cry when your hands run down my face. I stop 'cause there's nowhere I'd rather be than here in your arms.
I forgot to tell you the name of the artist is Montreal Walker. Montreal Walker. Please look for her. Go online and look for her and support her music. Fabulous, fabulous music.
I'd be all that you need if I could love you. I'd take care of every need if I could love you. I would never leave. It's amazing what love can do lately. All that's on my mind is you, baby. The first night we met, I believed in love again. When you came up to me and asked, do you wanna dance? I said yes. Do you wanna dance? I said yes. And love has a funny way of coming around when you least expect it.